Are you ready for the Low Blows Network? Every Wednesday on the Low Blows Network, the Low Blows team are at hand to break down, analyze, and make fun of all things pro wrestling. Hosted by former pro wrestler Rick Nash. I think the only reasonable thing we can do now is turn John Cena heel.
Selfie with me fucking Doug.
Banned from Nigeria. I will be talking to the government tomorrow morning. YouTube star Corporate King.
This elephant has 4 legs. Joe Russell's 4 legs. Joseph Stalin, if he had 2 more legs.
Bonesaw rips off his shirt, yeah, and it says, Chuck your law, big dirty tricorder.
And the Queen of Irish Wrestling, Katey Harvey.
I won't want to sign just CM Punk.
So embarrassed. CM Punk.
It's Low Blows.
It's happened a couple of times before. Fortunately, we're lucky enough. But this weekend, Low Blows went viral last week for good reasons. Thank God. You always worry when it happens. When video of Kento did this up, video of us celebrating Becky Lynch's Royal Rumble title win, or Royal Rumble win in general, went viral after Becky retweeted it. With it, by the end of the party, it was viewed over 200,000 times. Kento has totted up, like, both the video he put up and then, like, the various outlets that have shared it. It's been viewed over 1 million times now. That's fucking insane. And really worrying, because you also think, like, I'm very vulnerable. I've been drinking a lot. Like, I'm like under the influence and like letting my guard down. Didn't realize the camera was there, and oh shit, now everyone's seen it. On fucking Sports Illustrated, they cover us. On the Sports Illustrated, like SI Wrestling covered us, which is like a smaller offshoot of them. But then we're on like the main Sports Illustrated Instagram. Like, that's insane. So, with that said, hello to all our new followers. We passed 1,000. By the way, about fucking time, by the way. That annoyed me for the longest time. I'm like, we well deserve to be over 1,000. But I'm delighted anyway. We passed over 1,000 followers there at the weekend. So welcome all to any of you who managed to convert into the podcast. But as we get kicked off on another edition of Low Blows, Katey Harvey still off recovering from her surgery on Monday, which we can report went well. So it's just myself, Rick Nash, and Corporate Keen. Keen, have you got anything you want to say to the masses now that you have this elevated platform?
Yeah. Please watch my video that I put out yesterday. It did fucking shit, if I'm being honest. And I'm not saying it deserves more views, but that doesn't mean I don't want more views. So, if you want to just do that, subscribe, get to 2,000. That'd be great, yeah.
I really like that video.
Thank you.
If you haven't seen it yet, Corporate King released a video on his YouTube, which you can subscribe to for free. He released a video. What was it? Review WWE Erotica.
So I went to go up and I went to go and find some of the finest WWE related literature. You know what I mean? Going back years, I wanted to find the best literature out there that I could read for free and kind of tell stories to people. And I found I found fanfics, and it's not quite the fine piece of literature that I was looking for, but it happened.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the better videos. That's one of my faves, immediately up there. So stuff like Paul, you released this for free on Twitter. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, for example.
Brock put his dangle ding into. I mean, I didn't write it. Like that's. Well, the person had a great author name as well. It was like something. COD Player 1996 XX. So I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, it's up there anyway. If you want to ruin your life, feel free to go and watch it.
Check it out on YouTube. But thank you to all who made that moment and who made Sunday one of my favourite parties ever. And it was one of those things, we knew it would be going in. And this is what you're missing, lads. If you're not at the Low Blows parties, this is the kind of stuff you're missing in the moments. And, like, we'll have that forever. Like, that was incredible. And so we're going to talk about, like, the moments themselves still to come. We're going to review it all. But just the atmosphere there was absolutely insane. Like, that
to me is without a doubt my favourite party so far, like, by fucking far.
Yeah.
That, like, because I went into it and I was like, this is going to be deadly. I was excited mainly for Balor Lesnar, which, like, didn't happen. But, like, I went in looking forward to that and looking forward to the Becky stuff as well. But then when I was actually there and the thing happened after Becky winning the Rumble, that, it was just the best.
We were looking at Cian, like, with just the biggest fuck-off grin on his face, like, this is the best night of his life.
My God. There's a picture of me. I took a screenshot of it on the Low Blows Instagram story, and I've never, like, I don't think I've ever actually been that happy, ever. It's like, I've got a tricolour in one hand and, like, my Bludgeon Brothers shirt on, and it's just, like, it's, like, from when Rowan, like, I think it was probably when he, like, chokeslammed AJ, because that was, like, the peak where it was, like, he's fucking up the WWE. Well, he's not champion, but, like, you know, former WWE champion, and it's just so good. Just everything about it is so good.
Love the party as well. By the way, of course, for anyone looking for an update, we donated all the funds of our raffle to the Katey Harvey Recovery Fund. And I think you can still pre-order Heel Turn Apparel, the t-shirt that they have on sale there, so check that out on Twitter. If you weren't around and you didn't get a chance to donate, we raised over 300 quid for her, so delighted with that. Thank you to all who participated. It was great. A lot of people, like, digging deep in the pockets and trying to help out as well. It helped with Justy going around going, help this young woman wipe her arse. At one stage I was going around, Katey Harvey's gonna die unless you enter this raffle. We've saved one arm, so a lot of pressure on our part, but it was for a good cause, and we got it was a good night as well. The pool rumble, always memorable. That was my favourite.
Yeah, you know, you'd almost forget about it because of, like, all the shit that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
But, like, that was so good. That was like people took actual fucking bumps for Low Blows.
Like, so for anyone who wasn't there, and shout out now, Dave O'Neill, John Kelly put a huge amount of work into the pool. It's their brainchild. Like, I'll just kind of roll with it and come up with my own ideas and kind of let them do their own thing. But they went ahead, because if the pool rumble is basically, if 30 people enter, if you miss a shot, you're thrown over the top rope, meaning you're eliminated until there's one person left standing. But for everyone who was eliminated, they made ropes to throw people over, and people just started taking bumps. But then it started getting more extravagant because there was wrestlers in it. Shout out to the likes of Justy and Owen Richards who came along and entered. But they were actually taking bumps in the middle of it, and then, like, they were taking extravagant bumps where they were, like, going through the double doors into the next room, where there was a lot of people who weren't there for the Royal Rumble party.
That was my favourite part. The non-wrestling fans looking at it in horror, in shock. And it's like, my favourite part is, like, how do you even explain that? There's so much that went into that happening. So it's like, well, we have a what's a Royal Rumble? Well, it's like pool, but, well, and then we've ropes. Why do you have ropes? Well, we throw, it doesn't matter, right? It's so weird, like, when you think about it.
My favourite part was when one of the balls, and you couldn't have written this better, especially the person, one of the balls ended up slicing and going off the table directly into Justy's nutsack, and Justy died, of all people for it to happen. Like, Justy just went down like he'd been shot, down for a good 5 minutes. It was just, everyone was dead. It was fantastic. Lucha as well, the old Lucha Dragon. Lucha.
It was just mad. It was again, it's up there with, like, some of the best pill matches we've ever seen.
Yeah, it was. It was absolutely class. And the whole night was class. But it's one of those where it's like, they're my favourite type of Low Blows parties, when, like, we do all the bells and whistles, and that's good crack. But that should only be, like, the reason we do that is to get everyone in a good atmosphere for when the pay-per-view starts. So, like, you want to cheer, and you're, like, warmed up, and you're
not in that awkward kind of position beforehand. Yeah. Do you ever go to a show and you're kind of just like, you're at that opening phase where it's just kind of awkward. Nobody's really that into it just yet. So you're just kind of like, this is good, but I'm kind of
Yeah, so that's what we want. Now, sometimes as well, like, it's, we put on mad stuff, and it's worth coming just for the pre-show stuff alone, because it's like, the pay-per-view's a bit meh or whatever. But it's at its best when, like, you have all that stuff, and that's great, but then the pay-per-view lives up to it, and you get those memories and moments, and we're all together for it. It was absolutely rammed in buskers. It was crazy. We didn't expect it to be that busy, even though the Royal Rumble always is. It was nuts, and great to see, so thank you so much to everyone who came out. We will be discussing the Royal Rumble still to come. We'll be discussing the entire weekend of professional wrestling, given the good and the bad. We'll also be talking about the news. We'll be giving our hot takes for the week. But we're going to change things up somewhat slightly and going to get underway with what's usually the last segment on the show for a very special reason. You'll know if you listened in last week and you remember. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for
Queen versus King.
Queen versus Keen. How does that work? I hear you ask at home, because Queen isn't here. She's off injured. She's recovering from surgery. However, if you were listening,
can I just point out, by the way, Nicola's here and she's sitting in Katie Harvey's seat. The disrespect, I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do that. And me and Katie are like, we're feuding, and even I show the sign of respect of not sitting in her chair. And Nicola comes in and just sits there, as if it's just anyone's seat.
The Queen, Katie Harvey, of course, is off recovering from her elbow surgery, from her double elbow surgery at the weekend. Actually, by the way, did you notice this in the Low Blows WhatsApp? I was like, get well soon, Katie Harvey. Hope you're recovering well from the surgery. And then I did one of those muscle pose things, and I'm like, oh shit, that's insensitive. Last week she set a challenge for Corporate Keen, so we could do a Queen versus Keen. And the challenge is quite simple. If you're a long-time listener to Low Blows, and especially ask Low Blows every couple of weeks, you'll know Corporate Keen is obsessed with Pringles. They'd be like, if you're going to eat one food, it'd probably be Pringles.
Probably. What? It's not even close. Pringles.
There you go. That's his thing. Well, Katie has decided to torture him and say that since Katie is leading 7-5 in Queen versus Keen, she said that you can earn a point back by eating a tube of Pringles. But there's just one twist. Because she can't use either of her arms, you have to eat a tube, and it's left unopened, by the way, using no arms. You just have to figure it out. You're not allowed to, if you use your hands or your arms at all, you're disqualified. Katie gets the point. I know the points mean a lot to you, so we're going to do this throughout the show, because I'm not going to ask you to eat it in 5 minutes, but we're going to do this throughout the show and report back at the end. So Keen, whenever you're ready, I'm going to get video of this, so check it out on our social media. Whenever you're ready, I'm going to push it over to you there. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's grand.
For a starter? Alright. So whenever you're ready, you go for it.
Alright, well, let's try this now. I can't actually talk and do this.
Give the mic. Corbett Nicholas here, by the way. So give the mic to Corbett Nicholas.
Okay.
You can help me commentate
alright, this works.
on this and explain.
Alright, this should be interesting. Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's now taking the top with his teeth.
He's using his knees, okay.
Using his knees.
He's got the top off.
He has the top off. He is pulling his hair back with his hands, but that's okay. We'll allow that. Alright, now, the tube is between his knees.
Can he spin it, though?
Can he spin it? He has to spin the tube around.
Oh, he's going to drop
it. The tube
it.
is falling already. This is going very wrong.
Oh, no.
You can't pick that up if it falls. You can't pick that up if it falls.
He can pick it up with his legs.
Yeah, you can pick it up with your legs. Can't pick it up with your hands. All right. He's balancing it on the table as we speak. Now going to rip the top off. Trial 1 was unsuccessful. He's ripping the top off.
Doesn't look like it's going very well.
Have you just cracked the tooth? Have you? The top. There's been a mishap. What's happened?
Did you just? What did you just do?
Oh,
okay.
He's after ripping off the top.
He's fucked it up.
He's ripped off the top of the foil, which makes it now his challenge has got twice as hard. The Pringles have been opened. The Pringles have been opened. He has access to the Pringles. He's now shifting the Pringles. Keep shifting the Pringles. Keep in mind, we're in buskers on the ball. People walking around their day-to-day jobs. Keen essentially looks like he's going down on himself. If you can't see the Pringles, you have no idea what's happening. Alright, so Keen. Yeah, thank you, Katey. Thank you for this. He is eating the Pringles, so there we go.
One down.
One down. No, to be fair, I didn't think you got it open,
Yeah,
so that's
no.
one down. We're gonna
I'm pretty
check.
proud.
We're gonna check in as we go along. So, Cian, you have the whole show to get those Pringles
Yeah,
eaten.
good luck with that.
Now we're gonna talk about the news for the week while Cian works away. This is gonna be so distracted for the show. While Cian works
I'll
away
be
on
his
them
mic
Pringles.
person.
No, he can use his hands for the mic. He can use his hands for the mic. That's okay. But anyway, we're going to get on to the news because there has been a lot going on in wrestling, and we're going to digest it in memory of the late Katey Harvey. She's not dead. In memory of her, we're gonna give our hot takes because we can't do Harvey's hot takes. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for
Hot Takes.
Before we get to our hot takes, Cian, what's your strategy here?
So I'm trying to like lift it from my
Put the
legs.
mic close to your mouth.
What?
There you go.
Is that? Is
Yeah,
that better?
yeah,
Okay. I'm basically trying to lift it from my legs up onto the table.
Right.
But it's just an awkward one to sort of pull off.
Are you gonna have to like?
See, if I drop them now, if I drop them later on, it's okay because they won't fall out. If they fall out on the floor, it's game over. Do you know what I mean? But when
Well, you can't eat them off the floor if you want.
I can. I mean, I can, but
If you get to the very end and you're still alive, you're not gonna lose. You're not gonna lose the point.
yeah, that's true. But, my point is though, like my plan is later on tip it over, and then that's my plan later on. But
Right.
right now I can't do that because it's too full.
Right.
So it's like I have to like lift these from my legs to the table without dropping it, and then I can kind of like, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get on with the hot takes. I'm gonna leave you to that and try not to. I'm gonna try not to be distracted.
My
by
hot
this.
takes will come up at the worst time. Watch it.
I'm gonna start off talking about Will Ospreay.
Oh, I've actually got something I want to say about this, but you go on.
Will Ospreay got on Twitter last week, which is always a bad sign. Do you remember that time he gave up his Twitter for like an hour? That was,
Yeah.
that was such a beautiful hour. Will Ospreay's a great wrestler. And look, we know him, and he's done some nice things as well, so he's not all bad. For me, he's just young, and we forget how young he is, and we judge him based on his talent level rather than his age, but we do have to take into account that he is a pretty young guy, and he'll say some stupid shit. But then there's some problematic shit that he comes out with as well, because he just decided for no reason. He wasn't prompted. He had no reason to do this. He got on Twitter during the week and he's like, a couple of girls I know were going over to Japan. I think he said girls as well, like specifically. Like, it's not like women wrestlers, nothing like that. A couple of girls I know.
How would that be like saying a couple of lads? Do you know what I mean? That's not...
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, if the whole tweet wasn't reductive, I wouldn't pick up on that. Do you know, it's the fact that it was, like, everything about it was reductive. So it was like a couple of girls I know were going over to Japan to wrestle. I emailed them and told them that they weren't ready to go over. But then one of them, and then he tagged one of them, I can't remember their names off the top of my head, tagged one of them to say, but she's after doing well, the Pringles have fallen.
It's okay. They're not out. They're not.
We haven't, they are very nearly out.
But it's on my jacket, so it's alright.
It's on your jacket. Right, what are you going to do?
Okay.
The Pringles have
Look,
fallen.
see, if you weren't staring at me.
Alright, I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to let you figure this out, alright? He tagged one of them, but, like, clearly didn't tag the other. And then I was like, alright, I guess I'm reading the comments. Straight away, and then everyone called him out, like, going, dick move, dude. Absolute dick move. Yeah, look, that's it. Ospreay as well has a sketchy past with how he conducts himself when speaking about other women on social media. Like, there was a case, I'm not going to get too deep into it. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. But there was a case where there was someone was accusing a person Will Ospreay knows.
Katey who? Katey who? Guess how many Pringles fell just there? None. None fell out. I got them straight up. They're on the floor now, so I'm going to try to bring back up on the table with my feet. Sorry to cross it. But
They were there was a case where someone was accusing someone else that Will Ospreay knows of rape. And Will Ospreay came out and then started subtweeting him and saying that if someone doesn't get into a locker room, you're pretty sure they're a bad person and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you know what? I don't know what's going on here. Is Cian using his hands?
Nope. That would defeat the purpose of the challenge.
There's such drama going on here with these Pringles. Sorry. Did you just hit yourself in your head?
No.
Yeah, you did. Are you going to try and get it with your mouth?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, why don't I just get up? Would that not be easier? I just got up. And there we go.
You can get up. You can move around.
What?
You can move
Oh, I
around.
can. Okay, cool.
Just as long as it's not using your hands.
Okay. I get you.
Will Ospreay's a dick. Too long didn't read.
So wait, are you done? Because I've got something I want to say from that. The best thing to come out of the Ospreay tweet, Nathan Cruz subtweeted him. I don't know if you saw this. Nobody really saw this. It didn't go viral or anything like that. But I hate subtweets. It's what I hate. No offense. I know you're a fan of the subtweet. All my friends love subtweets. I really hate them. So basically, he subtweeted Ospreay, and Ospreay was like, gave like an insincere kind of soz apology, like you're all right, whatever. And he's like, haha, this wasn't aimed at you.
Oh, no.
And it was like, Butler.
Oh, no. Stick to your subtweets. If you're called on it, at least do. But obviously, I suppose you wouldn't have subtweeted to begin with if you... Yeah, so that's fair enough. Anyway, look, moving on. He's got it. He's got the Pringles in his mouth. The Pringles are in his mouth. They're back on the table. Corbett Keane
Katey
is
who?
alive. Corbett Keane is alive. Now, earlier on, we said, sorry, we just have to deal with this. Like, can you just move on to the next stage and just start eating?
It's not an easy thing, Rick. It's a challenge for a reason. I cannot let Katey go 3 points ahead. I'm fucked if that happens.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
It's Mike.
No, it's not you. We're gonna spoilers.
Sorry for the spoilers.
There's a reason
I
that
ruined
we
everything.
asked corporate Nicola to be on the show this week in particular because you received some devastating news this week that I wanted to get your thoughts on. As people who know you from when you've been on before and when Keith's been talking about you on the show and stuff like that.
Yeah, being the Low Blow's resident Shield girl.
You're a big Shields girl, and Dean Ambrose in particular.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a big week.
Yep.
He's announced he's leaving WWE.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been? What's your reaction?
I went.
The foil is officially off. All of that time has been getting the foil off.
No, you see, like I was gonna keep the foil on, and I think it did pay off earlier when the Pringles didn't spill out onto the floor. I think that played a role.
Yeah.
But I've had to kind of just sort of just get rid of it. It was getting in the way, and it's so hard. I didn't realize how hard it was to keep it balanced on the table. Standing up, it's like literally anything blow it over. So that's something I didn't take into account. So we're gonna go with that. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Nicola, Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. Back to the love of my life.
Yeah.
He already knows. It's fine. So basically I went through an absolute emotional roller coaster when I heard about it.
Tell me about it.
Because obviously, like, there was a lot of dirt sheets posting about it and stuff like that, and I was like, it's a rumor, but fuck it. And then as the day went on, there was, a lot more stuff coming out, and then Wrestling Observer put out WWE's statement, and then WWE put out their own statement themselves. And I don't know, like, I dealt with a lot of emotions when all that came out. But my main thing is, like, I'm really happy.
Okay.
Like, I was devastated at first because I'm like, I'm not going to see this man on my TV every week. I'm not going to get all the gifts from Tumblr, which is, like, the best thing ever. But I'm going to get Jon Moxley back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, Jon Moxley is my favorite ever. Like, him in CZW, in HWA, in fucking Dragon Gate USA, all of that. It's incredible. I love it so much. And I miss that. Because, like... Since he's come back, like, he almost died when he was off on injury, like, genuinely almost died. And then he comes back and they treat him like shit. You know what I mean?
You haven't been a fan?
No. Like, I've been a fan because, like, he's been in the main event scene, basically.
Sorry, have you eaten a full Pringle yet? Have you eaten one full Pringle yet? You've been at it for, like, about 10 minutes at this stage. Have you got one full Pringle?
Yeah. One. I had about 3 at the start.
All right.
It's like, you see, it's just now I'm trying, like, how do I... It's just the early stage. I feel like once I get to the later stage, it's going to be easier. Just tilt it over and then just...
I'd try tip it now.
No, look how close they are to the top. Even a slight little dip, it's just fucked. Do you know what I mean?
Right, okay, fair enough. This is hilarious.
Right, this is...
I can think of it...
This is way more sciencey and maths than I realised.
I can this is MacGyver shit.
Yeah, this is amazing.
King doesn't know what that is. Sorry,
Anyway,
you were saying.
we'll go back.
He's been treated like shit.
Yeah, so, like, they treated him like shit since I swear to God.
He nearly used his hands there.
So bad at this.
He nearly used his hands there.
Oh my god! I went to go like bring it down, and like as I hit the table as I came down, and fucking came up to my nose, and it really fucking hurt. I really don't want to ruin this podcast on Pringles shit, but like it's very difficult. A lot of developments happening in a short time.
Katey, if you're listening at home, you're winning.
Yeah, thank you for this absolute gold, Katey. Seriously, you're gonna win. No doubt about it.
He's tonguing the Pringles.
Oh my god.
Dean Ambrose treated like shit.
Let's go back to it.
You can't be sad with this.
No, I can't.
How can you be sad and emotional?
I'm not even like this.
He's over there trying to tongue a box of Pringles. Oh, this is amazing. He has Pringles.
Oh shit.
He has Pringles.
He has like 4 of them.
He has like 4 Pringles. No, you can't use
Keep
your hands.
your hands away.
Careful.
Oh.
Yes, that's a good strategy. That's a good strategy.
Okay,
He's
he's
letting
learning,
the crumbs.
he's learning.
He's letting the crumbs go back into the box.
Smart.
Continue. Now
Yeah.
Keane's getting somewhere.
Okay, yeah.
We
can
get a
leave
bit
him
of
alone for now.
momentum.
But yeah, so like they treated him like shit, and I'm like, I've seen so many of his indie matches. I'm like, I know he's a good wrestler. He's an incredible at promos, but WWE just haven't given him the opportunity to showcase that.
Right.
You know, like they had him bring up fucking Roman zucchini and shit, and you could see in those promos that he's not comfortable saying that shit. You know, and I'm like, he needs to have more control over his own stuff. On Monday night, like Raw just gone, we got to see more of the old Dean Ambrose that I loved. Like my god,
he's dropped crumbs onto the spoon.
Keep your hands away from your face.
We're gonna need a new spoon. You can. Yeah, we'll just put the spoon away. Like, we're not gonna leave the spoon out for breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, because I don't want anyone like seeing this.
Just lick at the spoon. You know, I don't pick it up.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, back to it. So on Monday night, like, we got to see the old Dean Ambrose. Like, he got in Triple H's face. He was talking shit to him. He was being really sassy. He was showing no fear, and that's what I miss. And I could kind of tell that Dean had a bit more of an input in that promo than he has in the past.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And that's why I'm so happy that he's leaving, because he's going to get that control back. You know, we're going to get Jon Moxley back. Jon Moxley was the height of his wrestling career, personally.
In terms of, like, quality-wise.
Yeah. Like, his promos are some of the best wrestling promos in general I've ever seen when he was Jon Moxley. You know, like, he did an entire promo about how, like, he got really emotional in one of them, and he's talking about how, like, the drugs took his mom, the cops took his dad, the social services took his little cousin, and he has nothing left. And now this other guy is trying to take his #1 contendership match. You know, like, that's an incredible promo. And I want that back.
Okay.
So I'm so excited.
And are you looking at it as well, like, from an optimistic point of view, as in he could be, like, on OTT, and you could see him live and stuff like that?
Oh,
like,
100%.
Yeah.
Like, if I get to meet this man, I will collapse dead on the ground. Like, I'm not even joking.
All right.
Dead
Interesting.
on the ground.
There you go. So, like, the positive view of Dean Ambrose
absolutely.
gone to the WWE.
And it's also important to notice that no matter what happens, whether he never wrestles again, whether he re-signs with WWE, whether he goes to the Indies, he goes to AEW, whatever, I will always love him 1,000,000 times more than I love Cian.
All right.
Just an important thing I need to
Cian,
mention.
like, struggling in his own challenge here tonight. It's always good to know that, you know, your girlfriend loves another man 100 times more than you.
1,000,000 times more.
1,000,000, sorry. There we
Get it
go.
right.
You got it right. Anyway, moving on.
Fuck, that was cold.
Cian, how's it going? Give us a status update.
Would you say it's about 10% gone?
Is
I'd
it
say
nearly
that.
tipping time?
There's an awkward... Nearly, yeah.
Tipping time is going to be interesting, because then we're going to have, like, people walking around.
That's something I didn't even think about. It was like people coming in and out. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even think this as a weird looking thing, and then I realised, oh, this is a very weird looking thing actually. How do you even explain this? Again, it's like the pool rumble. There's a lot to explain to somebody who's not really in the circle. You know what I mean?
Oh, brilliant. And really, it's just a circle of the three of us and Katey, like.
Pretty much.
Anyway, your hot take for the week. We'll give you a moment to kind of reflect on that.
My hot take is, I basically said during the Royal Rumble, right, during the bar match. So we talked already about the atmosphere and how mad it was for Balor, for Becky, all the Irish talent, but not Sheamus. No, Irish people don't give a shit about Sheamus, and I think that's fucking bollocks, right? He's the first Irish lad to win fucking everything. First Irish world champion, first Irish fucking US champion, first Irish tag champion, first Irish World Rumble winner, first Irish King of the Ring winner. They're so, like, his accomplishments are insane. He's a future Hall of Famer without a fucking doubt. Probably the first Irish lad in the Hall of Fame, unless Finlay gets there first, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, it's... For me, I just think it's mad that he just doesn't get the love he deserves. That lad should be a fucking star.
Is it to do with the fact that we're more used to seeing Sheamus in WWE, that we think of him more as the WWE guy than an Irish WWE? You know what I mean?
I think it's because, like kind of what you said, right? When did he get signed? 07?
It would have been at least 08. 08, 09.
Yeah, so it was late 2000s. And I feel like it was at a time when a lot of people had stopped watching wrestling, a lot of people had tuned out, weren't paying attention, whatever. And then when they came back to wrestling and they saw there was an Irish lad, he was there, but he'd already achieved everything, and they weren't with him on the journey. He wasn't. Finn Balor was he was in New Japan, he was in NXT, and he built himself up, and Becky, she built herself up in NXT as well. And I feel like with Sheamus, maybe a lot of people just missed out on the journey. I don't know, but this is a lad that, like, his first words on WWE TV were like, "Dia Gwit." Sheamus is on him dumb. I'm like, that's amazing.
To give a bit of insight on that, I don't know. I'm speculating now out loud while you're saying all this. It's like, when I think of Balor and Becky, I think of them coming home and going to training schools and kind of giving back to Ireland and stuff like that. So I think that could be more where the love is. Whereas Sheamus, don't get me wrong, Sheamus helped out when we did memorabilia for Max and stuff like that, and he's done a lot for Ireland and given back and stuff like that. But also, there's not necessarily that, in terms of like the likes of ourselves, the grassroots kind of wrestling fans of who like Irish wrestling as well and support Balor and Becky most kind of loudly, we haven't seen Sheamus kind of do anything like that. He's never come back and given a class. He's never come back. And I'm not saying that he has to. Like, it's just that could be the reason, because it's like, all right, you've traded off the fact you're Irish, but what do you actually do for Ireland? Do you know what I mean? Where it's Balor and Becky, it's like, you love Ireland. You'd still be here if you could. If you could work OTT every month, you probably both would. You know what I mean? I don't get that sense from Sheamus. I don't get the sense. And he is a right. Like, this is not a criticism. He's a right to love his life in America, and I'm sure he has a great life at it as well. You know what I mean? He lives, like, next door to Jericho. You know what I mean? What? Yeah, and, like, I'd imagine they're decent gaffs. So Sheamus has a great life, and he's got a right to enjoy it, and he doesn't owe Ireland anything. I'm not one of those people who's like, yeah, fuck Bono, fuck Sheamus, fuck anyone who gets famous, forgets who they gave him. I'm not that guy. He's a right to enjoy this and not give back if he doesn't want it. But he doesn't really. You know what I mean? Not that much. Or not that we see. Maybe he does in private, but not that we see, or not that I've personally heard of. Maybe that contributes towards it somewhat. You know what I mean? Becky came home over Christmas. Like, she came home over Christmas to see her family for Christmas. And she did a Fight Factory training class. Like, randomly, at the last minute. You know what I mean? That's fucking awesome. Keith's going for it. Oh, he's got the Pringle. He has the Pringle.
It was really getting to me.
From the table, it's done. So I don't know. Does that kind of answer?
Yeah, he doesn't feel as kind of part of the Irish indie scene.
Yeah. And he didn't have a great experience. Like, he didn't have a great finish to his indie career. So he's probably, like, going, you know what, that part of me is over. Like, that's probably his standpoint, and that's a fair standpoint to have. I know that he ended in Ireland on fairly acrimonious circumstances. I know because I was around at the time.
Did he ever fight you?
Apparently he didn't like me, but like,
are you the reason that he left and never came back?
It's nothing to do with me.
It's definitely you. You were the reason he left and never came back. I'm devastated now.
It's not me, but no, he did end on in quite acrimonious, and that could be where he's coming from, and that's a fair stance. You know what I mean? But it's like also 10, 11 years ago. It's part of the past, but that could be why we don't take him to our hearts as much. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But even as a non-Irish fan, he's still really fucking good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's genuinely one. I would consider him to be the absolute fucking top in WWE.
Do you remember how we used to see Sheamus when he before the bar and all this, when it was just he was before heel Sheamus? It was just it's a bit he's a bit they're trying to really they're trying to really make Sheamus a thing, and he's not a thing. You know what I mean?
Well, for me, one thing that I remember, and this is another reason I fucking love Sheamus. I know you say before heel Sheamus, but you remember you got Roman Reigns cheered at like peak hatred for Roman Reigns? This was like late 2015 or 16 or something like that, where Vince was the special guest ref.
Oh yeah, the Survivor Series.
And everyone just like lost their shit for Reigns.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Sheamus was part of that.
Yeah.
And they can say, oh, it's because he's born, it's because he's this or he's that. I don't care. Like he's so good.
No, you're right. But like, look at how we used to react to Sheamus and his stuff. Like we used to be like, oh, he's so bored. He's vanilla. He's this. He's that. They're trying to force him on us and this and that. And then he came back as heel Sheamus, reinvented himself again with the bar, and now it's like Sheamus is fucking good, lads. Sheamus, there's no two ways about it. He's fucking good. So we do have that respect for him, I think. But again, yeah, we just don't have him in our hearts the way we do Balor and Becky. So
I do. I love Sheamus.
Well, you do. There you go. Seamus, someone out there loves you, but he's definitely not listening. No, me on it. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cian. You'd have all the Seamus love if I wasn't here. Anyway, look, let's get talking about Balor and Becky. Let's get talking about the wrestling week that was in the ring. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the good and the bad from the week. Because it's time for...
Say something stupid.
In at number 5, we're going to talk about something else from NXT TakeOver later on. But Corporate Keaton, you want to pick up on one small note. Small
note. Small. Alright, I said this on Twitter, and it did genuinely piss me off, because I was like, I didn't really know what the card was going into, I wasn't really paying attention. I know we did our picks. I immediately forgot them, I wasn't even paying attention. I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be good. You know, it's TakeOver Phoenix. TakeOver Phoenix. This is a big break for us. I don't even know nobody's talking about it, but it's a massive break for the lads. You know what I mean? And in the end, it wasn't. They might as well just call it NXT Takeover NXT. There was no Phoenix lads. I went in there to watch Tommaso Ciampa versus Steve Savage. I went in there to watch Shayna Baszler versus Raven Creed. Why?
I'd watch that match.
I think a lot of people.
It's a great match, yeah.
Fucking War Raiders versus Undisputed Era. Why not throw in the Armstrongs? Who doesn't want to see Johnny Gargano versus Billy Bedlam? These are... I feel robbed. And that's why I haven't even put anything This Is Awesome for NXT TakeOver. That was Rick, because I didn't find it awesome. I thought it was shit. And I thought it was disappointing. And that's why I found it disappointing.
You just never came back from the
I just want to commentate with Mauro Ranallo, alright? That's all I want. I just want to commentate with Mauro Ranallo. Just once. I just think he's just the best. And I'm not salty about it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, one day, you never know. They may come back. If they do, NXT TakeOver Cork could be NXT TakeOver Phoenix. We'll live and dream. It would have been weird if they'd have done it in Phoenix. Because it would have been like, we don't really know the Armstrongs, you know. I'm sure this is nice.
They'll load them after it, though.
Yeah, if they did it in the Kino.
Yeah,
you know,
why didn't they do it in the Kino?
Well,
the Kino's a great venue.
Because they're saving it.
Ah,
right, they're saving it. They'll get to it, don't worry.
You know, if you do want to see wrestling in the Kino, there's actually wrestling on this Saturday. I'm sure I'll get to it later, though.
He's getting really good at this. No, go on, what we're talking about it.
Yeah, Phoenix Wrestling, Saturday, the 2nd of February, this Saturday. There is... Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to announce that yet. I don't know if it's been announced. There's a match between two people that I don't know if I'm allowed to mention yet or not. But there's also Steve Savage and Raven Creed against Debbie and Justy. There is the Kings of the fucking North.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's been announced either. No, they've been announced, but I don't know if their match has.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Don't get fired.
Yeah. I'm not going to stop, because Nicola, this is something that needs to be.
The Armstrongs are in action.
The Armstrongs are against Rough Stuff. That was announced, and I'm looking forward to that.
The Armstrongs as well, celebrating 2 years as a team.
Yes.
New merch out, looks slick.
But they haven't beaten Rough Stuff yet. Can they beat Rough Stuff for the first time in their career? That's what we're going to find out this Saturday.
Excellent.
I'm very fucking excited for it. Katey Harvey, I don't think she's going to be there. I probably shouldn't even mention that, but I have been told that there is a replacement lined up for Katey Harvey in her match against Amy Lonzi, but we don't know who it is just yet.
Okay.
And of course, big win mix, big win open challenge. I can't say that this late with no sleep, I'm sorry. But yeah.
You better get on that before Saturday doing the commentary.
Big win mix, big win open challenge. Yeah, there we go. So, that's happening, and it's going to be great. Again, it could be anyone. You don't know who it's going to be. So, yeah, I reckon it's in the Kino, by the way. That's why I mentioned it. Kino, Cork City, this Saturday.
There you go. Check it out, guys. Anyway, in at number 4, real quick, one from Raw. Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin had a match. And no, it was what it was. It was grand, but like beforehand, they're trying to sell the match and they're trying to like explain the backstory between these two. And Kurt Angle does a promo backstage, and he's like, "You know what? Being Raw GM was the best part of my career." And all I could think of was, Kurt's had a lot of concussions. He probably doesn't remember before last year. Like, Kurt, you were really good. Like, 2001 and 2, amazing years, you know? Your debut, he won the WWE Championship within his first year, the King of the Ring. He won everything. He beat The Rock. He was in, like, it's feud with Chris Benoit. He was in the Invasion angle, the feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then he was feuding with the likes of Eddie Guerrero, Edge, the SmackDown 6 and all. And then he main evented WrestleMania. I'd say that is better. Oh, the Pringles are in danger of falling.
No.
He's retreated. He's retreated. Kurt Angle's had a lot of good periods in his career.
Yeah, but were they as fun as being GM?
Yes, much more fun.
Well,
remember he did the guitar parts?
He might not have found that as fun. He might have he might have been a diehard EWR fan, and he finally got the chance to be a GM, and... I mean, you never know. That could have been the most fun. It doesn't look fun, but it could have been.
As a GM, I can confirm being a GM is quite fun. It is.
There you go then.
But at the same time, I just think that's a big
Which do you find more fun, wrestling or being a GM?
Oh, being a GM. That's a good point.
Yeah, there you go.
No bumps, you know. I don't know, and he really loves like coming out and pointing in time when they say you suck. Maybe that's like he's got just a little OCD about that. He's like 1, 2, 3, you suck.
And yeah, just to quote
he's
Nicola,
like, oh, that was deadly. I got it right that time. Oh.
And just to quote Nicola, yes, I did compare Ricochet to Kurt Angle because you know,
stop talking about me.
Why not?
Please stop talking about. In a number 3, let's talk about CZW.
Okay, so I caught up on CZW. It's been a long time since I've actually watched it actively. It only dawned on me today. The last time I watched it might have been even before I started Low Blows, or like just before I started. So it's been a while, but I caught up. There's only 5 or 6 shows I need to catch up on. For the most part, it wasn't very good.
Oh, really?
But it picked up at the end. I'll get to that. Cage of Death. I'll get to that in a bit.
Right.
But there are some really good characters, and there are some good wrestlers that I'm interested in watching. But there's also the flip side of that. So I'm going to give you a character, right? And I want you to tell me, do you think this is a really good character? Because a lot of people come up with this idea, so it's a very popular one, and it must be popular for a reason. It might have just gone over my head. So I'm going to debut, and I am going to pick heavy metal music as my entrance, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to come out, and I'm going to be really hyped. I'm going to be super energetic, and I'm going to say, come on, really loudly into the crowd and go, yeah. So, what do you think?
Every indie wrestler ever?
No, I think most indie wrestlers. I think the top indie wrestlers have all moved past at this stage. It's in fairness, I think it's mostly like new lads coming in and all, but even still, it's like the likes of Jay Money and all are like relatively new, and they still got characters.
Jay Money came out like a million steps ahead of that.
Exactly.
Like in his first match.
I get that they're new, but it's like, just come on, like just do something. Like,
come on.
They're all literally. The reason it bothers me is because I want to know everybody on the roster. I want them all to stand out, and again, some of them are great, but others, it's like, I don't know your name. I've seen you wrestle 3 times now in a row in the space of like fucking one day because I'm sitting here covered in Pringles binge watching CCW, and I still don't know who the fuck you are because your character is, I come out to heavy metal music and I say, come on, fantastic, please stop, please come up with something cool, something funny, you know what I mean, something different. I don't know.
Don't buy your gear off E-Lucha either, like, come on lads, seriously.
So their gear is actually alright for the most part, but it's just a bit generic, that's all.
Yeah, that's a shame. CZW, it's kind of died a death since they had the walkout, wasn't it?
The walkout?
Yeah, who was that? Was it Joey Janela?
Joey Janela, yeah, he did leave. No, it was kind of already going downhill. It's like, I think GCW is in the same area, I think. And that's why, like, all the old CCW fans have moved over. And
right. There's not much left.
I mean, they're salvaging something. Like, I did enjoy Cage of Death, personally. But, it took a while to get there.
It feels like between this and ICW last week, it feels like you're every week now on Low Blows, you're riding off another promotion. Do you remember this thing that used to be really good? It's dead. Do you remember this other thing? It's dead.
See, but the thing, then again, though, when I first got into CCW, it was dead to everyone else. I just didn't realise it.
Right.
And I was enjoying it. But even now, to me, it's more the crowd. The crowd are just fucking, like, a wrestler will do a really cool move, but it'll be to silence. And it's like, it makes you, as the viewer, kind of go, was that shit?
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look shit, but I mean, everyone else seems to think it was shit.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, look, we'll keep an eye. We're going to talk more about it in the This Is Awesome. So there were some good stuff there. So we'll get back to it. I'm going to give you a chance to pick away at those Pringles now, if you like. Leave the mic on the desk, Nicola. If you want to jump in for some of this now, you're more than welcome. In at number 2, I want to talk about the Royal Rumble. Like some of the bad points from it.
I actually do want to talk about this.
Okay, there we go.
My fucking God, man.
All right, first point. All right, we'll get to. I know what you want to talk about. First point I want to make. Are we sure Ronda Rousey's that good? Like, her match with Sasha was the Drizz.
But she hasn't lost a single match yet. Okay.
I hate her.
Do you hate her because of Becky?
No.
Right.
I just hate her.
Okay.
Like, as far as I'm concerned, she should have just gone into NXT and been trained properly and brought up. I get that she's a massive star, and that's why they wanted her like in the main event scene, like straight. Oh, okay, there's
drama going on with the Pringles. He's trying to tip them, but they're very close to the table edge. All right, some Pringles are protruding from the top, making it easy for this.
If he drops any of this, it's over.
Like, I don't mind if there's tiny crumbs on the table. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
an
just
entire
Pringle.
Like.
Yeah. All right, he's working away with there. Yeah, sorry.
But, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I get why they put her straight into the main event scene when they did, because, like, it's Ronda Rousey, for God's sake. But I just don't think she's good enough to be Raw Women's Champion.
Would Becky Lynch be in the main event of WrestleMania if she wasn't across the ring from Ronda Rousey?
I don't think so.
Yeah. There.
See, that's a fair point.
So that's the only thing.
See,
like, she does have value, and I accept that. But I'm also on your side. I don't think she's progressing in the way. I think when she started in the tag match last year at WrestleMania, we're like, whoa, she's way better than Shelly Wright to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And she does do some stuff that's really impressive, like, especially for her experience level. Don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on her either. But at the same time, like, it just doesn't feel... It feels like her matches are getting less coherent. You know what I mean? Yeah. It feels like she's plateaued. Like, the match with Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks is such a smooth, fluid worker. And they had a hot build coming into it that it was just that when Ronda couldn't, like, when that turned into a train wreck and that turned into a typical kind of Ronda Rousey match, it's like, oh man, like, you know, just at some stage you got to sell. Now, the counterpoint to that is that's the kind of match she wrestled against Bayley the next night. You know, Bayley was on top for a lot of that and got a lot of, time where she was on top, and Ronda got to sell, and she is quite good at that. So that was her at her best. She was good against Nia at Money in the Bank when she did the same, you know. So she does have qualities, but I worry that she's after plateauing a little bit. Again, I agree with where she is in the card because look what we're getting out of it, but it's just a shame because I think
Ronda has done a stupid amount, like in a good way, of stuff for women's wrestling in WWE and women's wrestling in general.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So even though I hope Becky rips her arm off, I am a massive, massive Ronda fan for what she's done. And more important, like the big question really I have to ask is, can I clean the crumbs off? I mean, I'm not actually gonna eat I'm not gonna eat the crumbs. Do you know what I mean? It's more
clean them off at the end. There'll be a clean up.
It's just for them. Do you know what I mean? It's not really like...
No, clean it up at the end before you leave.
Yeah,
they're not going to have to clean it in the middle of doing the show, so you can clean it before you leave.
That's a fair point. All right.
Next point from the Royal Rumble, just commentary. No. At one stage, Johnny Gargano eliminated Jinder Mahal. The problem with that is, and this is going to be a running theme now on this week's Low Blows, before that happened, Johnny was getting a bit on top, and it'd be like, how embarrassing would it be if Johnny Gargano eliminated Jinder Mahal? Then that happened. How did that help anyone involved in that spot? Like, they shit on Johnny Gargano because it's like, he can't do that. And then it happened, and then Jinder Mahal looks like shit because they just said, that's the worst thing that could possibly happen to a man. And then it happened to him.
There was a better way of wording it, definitely, but in the heat of the moment, I can see what they're going for.
Yeah,
because like obviously Johnny, he is the underdog. Johnny's never even wrestled. He's not on the main roster. Jinder Mahal's a former world champion. Do you know what I mean? Johnny, I mean, it's not even like he's an NXT champion. He's a North American champion, and congratulations, of course, he earned that. But, you know, it's not like he reached the top of the pyramid in NXT either. So for him, I would consider him the underdog against Jinder Mahal.
He is an underdog, but at the same time, like, I get what you're saying. They were trying to set it up for a plateau. They were trying to set it up for a peak, so that when it happened, you'd be ready and you'd be like, oh, and you'd feel it as they wanted you to feel it. But the problem was the way they went about it was just burying. And again, like I said, that'd be a running team. Now, this is the main part of the Royal Rumble that I want to discuss. Because obviously we will discuss the later stages, but I want to talk about the Women's Royal Rumble early stages. Because that was on its way to being their worst Royal Rumble match there has ever been.
I cannot stand Lacey Evans.
Okay, go for it.
And she was in it for like how long? I felt like it was like about half an hour or something. And Jesus Christ, there were so many botches.
Yeah.
Like she just kept fucking up shit.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going like, just somebody eliminate her, get it out of the match, and let it progress. Like, I just
she can't. Yeah, it's tough. And there was a lot of stuff in the early stages. Like for example, there was no surprises. Like. There needs to be surprises in a Royal Rumble match. There needs to be something. I know they were saving it for the big pop later.
Yeah.
And they were
but
kind
you
of
need something at the beginning of it.
Yeah, there's something to keep it interesting. For a start as well, it's like I think it was Cage Side's News reported that it was like nowhere near 90 seconds per entrance. So they just kind of were like, they were doing entrances. And then it felt like 10 seconds after the entrance finished, it was like 10, 9, so there was no space for time to breathe. But then when it did, they were doing stupid shit. A lot of people liked this, but for me, the Zelina and Hornswoggle stuff was absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I liked it. I didn't really get what was happening at the start, but I was like, mad. I don't know, I enjoy random shit like that. But for me,
keep on the Zelina Hornswoggle because I want to talk about that.
Oh, okay, right. I liked it. I liked that part.
So yeah, no, I didn't because I thought it was stupid. I thought, like, for example, like, I don't mind them establishing that Zelina's under the ring. They didn't have to do it 10 times. They didn't have to have her be like, tee-hee, tee-hee, tee-hee.
Yeah, but the alternative is to show what was happening in the ring, which at the time... and I hate being this guy, you know, I hate being that guy who criticises matches, like... from a technical standpoint, because it's just not my thing. But holy fucking shit, like some of that, like Tamina, Xia Li and all that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about the match. But at the same time, that wasn't an audible. They didn't say, right, we're going to have a shit match, Zelina, right? Everything's going to be shit in the ring, so you have to keep coming back from under the ring. That was planned. That was like, she was told to do that before it happened because they had to direct the cameraman to tell her to do it, to be there at the time. So,
every elimination.
Yeah, every
time
she came out. So it's like, trust us the first time that we know she's there. You've established this. Then if you want to do it when they're doing the payoff and Hornswoggle comes out, I didn't mind the Hornswoggle part. It was stupid, but it was fun stupid where it was like, okay, this is random. This match needed some randomness. God help us all. Yeah. So I didn't mind that part, but I just thought it was stupid to have her keep coming out because it's like, you're not hiding. You're coming out, like, you're not hiding if you're showing yourself. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There's
like
no
the whole
logic
point
here.
of that spot is to be like, you're hiding so you can come out at the end of the match and be like, hey, you haven't actually won it. But she was coming out every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Everyone knows you're there.
Exactly.
This isn't going to work.
Yeah. Maria versus the hat as well was another low point for me.
My God.
When Alicia Fox came in and she had the hat on and then Maria took it off and tried to stomp on the hat. Did precisely 0 damage to the hat.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, she stamped on it, but nothing happened to it.
She stomped it again and she was going stiff. No damage. Stomped it again, going stiff. So it just looked like, all right, this is totally ineffective. Then what we were talking about there, Xia Li against Tamina. I was just like, yes, the old China versus Samoa feud. That old chestnut, like, it was really bad. Who asked for that? Who was waiting for that?
Well, no, because you see, I get the idea of, like, you know, the Royal. That's what I like about the Royal Rumble, is that you get all these random people fighting each other, like Aleister Black and Dean Ambrose later on. People that otherwise don't interact for this one night.
People who are over.
Well, I mean, no, but that's the thing. I don't mind if they're over. No, I don't care. It's cool to see the random sort of pairings that happen. It just wasn't good. That's the only thing.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like, it was no one asked for it. No one was looking forward to it. Like, the way you're supposed to feel is like, you say Dean Ambrose and Aleister Black, and I'm like, oh, you're supposed to feel that. But, like, you say anyone and Tamina, and I'm like, nah. No, I'm not looking forward to it. Sorry, no. It was awful. Having said that, we will discuss later. They did quite well at saving it. So, it's not all bad. It was just the start of it was terrible.
It went from like one of the worst matches I've ever seen to one of the best. I know we'll get to it, but like
we will discuss.
Oh my god, that ending.
They did save it, so we will get on to that. In at number 1, though, from NXT Takeover, specifically NXT Takeover pre-show, this clip was doing the rounds. I think Jade was talking about it as well. Like she had a bit of a rant about it. Sam Roberts on the kickoff show panel had a go at Bianca Belair when they're discussing the Shayna Baszler Bianca match, and he's like, he's trying to have a moment. I can see what he's going for, but he's trying to like have a rant and a strong opinion and be like, oh, he's not just a mark, he's like a real analyst, he's giving real hot takes here, but like he just went about it the worst way. This is similar to what we were saying about like Johnny Gargano and just burying talent. He turns around and he's like, Bianca Belair does not deserve this match. She doesn't deserve to be in a women's title match. Has any Pringles fallen?
No, but they look like they're going.
The Pringles are hanging off the edge of the table.
Very close to the edge, and I'm nervous.
This is a dangerous strategy from Corporate Keane.
Move them back. Smart.
He has moved them back. So anyway, we'll get back to it. He's like, Bianca Belair does not deserve to be in this match. She's not good enough. She is a ponytail. She is a gimmick. There is no thing. I respect the fact she's undefeated, but she's not in Shayna Baszler's league. And absolutely ripped into her. He's like, for no reason, totally unprovoked. And then the rest of the team are like, okay, moving on. Anyway, so then you have that. There's a problem with that. And it relates to also Finn Balor losing to Brock Lesnar later in the night. Because remember last week we came out and I was getting excited about it. I was like, Balor could win this. Like, I didn't think he was actually going to win, but he could win this. Because, like, why would Vince McMahon do the whole, you can't beat Brock Lesnar unless he's beating Brock Lesnar? Because he just shit on the guy. And then he didn't beat Brock Lesnar. Now, they did well by Balor, like, at the start, by having him come out and, like, kick the shit out of him for a while. And, like, he looked impressive. And they'll always have the clips of that. So, it's not the end of the world. Balor's not buried by any means. But it's the same with Bianca. It's like, she ended up losing that match. And if she's losing, then you're just shitting on her. Because then it's like, there's no hope. Same with Johnny Gargano and Jinder. It's like one of these commentary calls where there's just nothing if she doesn't win.
But if she loses, is he not right, though, in what he says? That's what I mean. I think he is wrong because I think she put up a good enough fight to justify being in that match. So to say that she wasn't ready, I don't know if that's fair. I mean, obviously she didn't get the win, so he could argue that he was right. But for me, I think she did. It's Shayna fucking Baszler. You know what I mean? Like, who is ready for Shayna Baszler? I think she's as close as ready as you're going to get out of everyone on NXT, except for maybe Mia Yim. I don't know. But yeah.
All right, fair enough. Well, this is it. I just don't like people getting buried for no reason. Anyway, moving on to the good from the week, because it's time for... Corporate Keane is pissed. This challenge could be over. Folks, this could be over.
Oh, this is a dangerous move.
He's taking a dangerous move. He's nearly spilling... Did the Pringle fall?
No.
Right, he's taking it... I
don't even know what he's trying to do. He's just
going
chewing
nowhere
the tube
at this
now.
stage. He's literally just chewing the tube.
Maybe that's the strategy. He's going to chew through the tube.
Talk us through what's going on.
So my game plan now is basically they're stuck, like they're tipped over, but they're not like falling out, they're just stuck. So my idea is if I just maybe stand them up again and push them over again.
You can also stand, like
I'm not standing. You see, the issue, right? I did think about this challenge for the last week. I've been preparing for this challenge. No, I haven't actually. But like mentally preparing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you could have done some practice.
No, because then it's more fun. It's more fun when you don't. But one aspect I didn't take into account is just like, we obviously Low Blows HQ is a massive building. We share this building with other people, and it's just something I didn't take into account. It's a bit off-putting. That's all I'm saying.
There's a lot of staff walking by.
It reminds me of like reading fanfic from a video, and I had to wait till everyone was fucked off from upstairs in the house because it's just mad awkward to be like Randy Orton's thick, warm cum, and like like your fucking like dad's like outside, and I'm just like. I can't even explain this. Like.
It's the sunrise.
Sorry, just that quote is an actual quote from the video. He's not just making that up, which makes it even better.
All right, Corporate Kid, we're going to take your mind off it, maybe a freshen up. Let's talk to us about the good from the week. Let's talk about the positives from CZW.
Yeah, so eventually, the last show CZW did of 2018 was Cage of Death, which is their WrestleMania, and it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. It felt like a bit of a step up other people didn't seem to like it. It's hard to really gauge how people feel about it because there's not that many people watching. So it's like if you go onto Reddit after WWE, you can get a general kind of, this is how people felt about it. With CCW, it's not as easy to do that because it's like, there's not that many comments there. You might have one comment saying that was shit, and then you're left going, I guess everyone thought it was shit.
Yeah.
But in reality, it might have been one out of like however many. But I saw a mixed reaction. For me, one match that stood out to me wasn't the cage death itself. Although there is one thing I will say from that match. It was. Are you familiar with...
What's the cage of death? For anyone who, like, a lot of people don't know.
See, this is the thing. I was hoping you'd avoid asking me that question because I don't know. It's just a death match in a cage, like.
All right. That's actually quite a simple, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't think there's any like complicated rules.
Just like weapons and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of weapons and a lot of glass, a lot of like. It's technically the rule set isn't really that different to any other cage match, but it is still very different to any other cage match you'll ever see.
Right.
MJF was going to be in it, which was mad. I don't know how they would have done that because he's not like a deathmatch wrestler, and this is as deathmatch as it gets. Okay. Probably would have had to water it down, or maybe he'd just die. I don't know. But either way, he got injured, so we had to pull out, which is obviously a shit one for them because that's kind of what they're building this around. In the end, it was Ricky Shane Page versus Mance Warner. I don't know. Are you familiar with Mance Warner?
No, I don't know either of those.
You don't know Ricky Shane Page?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
He was an OTT. He's a big name in Fight Club Pro. He's a lot. I'm actually surprised to hear that. Ricky Shane Page is a pretty big name over here. Mance Warner, not as much, but he's. I feel like I'm not like the biggest fan of either wrestler. Like I'm not saying they're shit or anything. I'm just not really for me. But the fans love Mance Warner, so it works. And they ended up having a death match, and I just want to mention it because there was a point in it where those barbed wire boards. Ricky Shane Page stapled, or was it, no, did he staple it, or he staple doesn't seem like the right word. I'm going to say staple anyway. Basically stuck Mance Warner's tongue to the board, and like, it's bad enough as it is where you're like, oh, fuck, and then Mance Warner is like, and then you look over and he starts lifting the board with his tongue, and it's stuck to it, and there's blood everywhere, and he's like, I'm like,
oh no.
It was fucking vile, and I loved it. What else? Yeah, but the match that stood out to me was, there's a faction called The Office. And The Office, so, remember what I said about, is my phone upside down? Why isn't that? Anyway, you know what I said about characters at CCW, how a lot of them are just kind of cool guys.
Yeah, come on.
Well, yeah. Well, they took kind of, not even come on, but just like, I say fuck, and I put people through tables and barbed wire, so that's my character.
Yeah.
There was a few of them, and they ended up getting put in a faction called The Office. And The Office is basically the Authority, but CCW. And it's completely changed how I feel about the wrestlers involved. I fucking love it. They basically wear like white shirts and a black tie and a suit, like that kind of thing.
The right to censor, like?
Yeah, like the white shirts like that.
Yeah.
And but they're deathmatch wrestlers. The whole point is, yes, they're the Authority, and they're like, they're standing up for DJ Hyde, who's a Vince McMahon, but they do death matches, so they're covered in blood a lot of the time, and they are genuinely dangerous. And it's like, you ever see like a wrestler's wearing white and they're covered in blood? Yeah. And it makes it look vicious. Yeah. They look like they've literally just killed someone. And they come out and they wear gloves as well. Like, some of them are gloves. And they come out to this the movie reference I was saying earlier. Remember I said I was going to reference a movie on this podcast? Reservoir Dogs. Is that the movie where they cut off your man's ear?
Yeah.
Stuck in the middle with you. Yeah, they do that. They come out with that song. And they look like actual psychos, and it's really fucking good. Nicola's shocked that I've just referenced a real life movie. I've never seen it.
Earlier on when he was talking about it, he's like, I've got a movie reference. It's going to be like My Little Mermaid. It's like, that's not a movie. You're thinking of My Little Pony and The Little Mermaid.
I tried. And basically,
My Little Mermaid.
The Office had a 4-on-4 match, right? I'm going to throw some names at you. If you don't know them, we'll just skip past it because I'll be here forever.
Yeah.
Jimmy Lloyd, Dan O'Hare, Maria Manick, and Mitch Fallon.
Nope.
None of them. Okay. No, that was to be expected. They're not massive names really, but they are very good. I'll shout out. But it was a mad match. It was no rules. 4v4. They used TVs. They used fucking thumbtacks. They like fucked a lot of thumbtacks into Maria Manick's face. Which I think is a mad spot, but I think is really cool though. Barbed wire doors.
Nice.
A sex doll. Bloodied up Maria Manick ate the face off a sex doll, and it was fascinating stuff, really. They used the dildo, stuck it onto a drill, and then turned the drill on, so it started spinning like mad, and then they shoved it into Brandon Kirk's mouth. It was madness.
Jesus Christ, that's intense.
But it was it's the sort of mad shit that I was entertained by it, and I just thought it was really good. So if you're into weird shit, I definitely recommend watching it. And yeah, I don't think there's any. Well, we're almost in February. It's CZW, one of those promotions that took a break over January, so there's been nothing since then. But yeah, I'll definitely plan on keeping up with CZW. There, that show kind of won me over a bit.
Okay, interesting. Keep it. Let us know how that goes as you keep watching. Let's talk before we get back to the Pringles about NXT UK.
Oh shit, yeah. So on a weekend where like there's a Royal Rumble and there's a takeover and there's so much shit, like of course it gets overshadowed, yeah. But for me, something that I have to mention is Travis Banks versus Jordan Devlin.
Yeah.
On NXT UK. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it.
It was a really good match. I thought, yeah. So there was, like, I'm assuming anybody who's interested probably would have seen it at the stage because it would have been at like the other end of the week. It was a bollocks ending. It was a double count out, but that's kind of good though because then you want to see more. And they're still fighting all the way to the back. For me, I don't want to go too into this because it's kind of like it's to say something stupid for another week, but like the one highlight for me is Jordan Devlin, not because we love Jordan, we love Jordan Devlin obviously, but mainly because he doesn't seem like a shit version of what he was on the indies.
If anything, he's kind of evolved.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It's like when you look at all the other wrestlers, it's like what they did in ICW, for example. That's a big one because it's very adult, it's very Scottish, and you know, like you see them all having a laugh. They've got their own inside jokes and their own character tropes and their own stuff, and that's gone in NXT UK. It's real kind of. They go from like, oh, you know, I can't think of an example off the top of my head.
I know what you're saying,
to like, I'm gonna kick your ass this Sunday in Glasgow, and it's like, it's just ruined. Whereas Jordan Devlin comes out and he's like, yeah, fuck you. I love it. I know, and yeah, he's a great wrestler obviously as well, as is Travis Banks, and it was exactly what you'd expect it to be.
Him and Pete Dunne are the two people who, and Walter now could do the same, but they're the two people who've really taken the NXT UK and used it as a springboard and actually got better with it. Whereas, I totally agree, a lot of people have regressed. I think British Strong Style in general, they've managed to hold up quite well, like, while not being able to fully be British Strong Style, they've managed to keep the charisma and everything they were getting with Progress. Now we get to watch it on a weekly stage. So.
I feel like it's because they were already kind of there. Like, they kind of started it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that probably helped. But, I don't know. I still don't think the UK weekly shows are worth watching. I watched them just to know what's happening going into TakeOver. But if you're on limited time, just wait for the takeovers. The last takeover was really good. Yeah,
exactly. So we know it can peak when it needs to, and we feel a bit better about it. But it's like NXT in general. Like that can be the way with the NXT weekly shows. Like some weeks it's like, you know, I could have just watched the 3 minutes that mattered there and not miss much, and I still know what's going on at takeover.
What I would say is use the time that you would spend watching NXT UK to watch an indie who's putting on an A show in the UK, do you know what I mean? And then watch the takeovers then.
Yeah.
The takeovers, if the takeovers are just as good as like anything, then I don't see what the problem is. You know what I mean? As long as I'm entertained.
Yeah. And as long as they're getting the numbers that they need to get to keep going, then fair enough. Then everyone's happy. Yeah, I'd agree with everything you say from what I've seen of NXT UK. Moving on anyway, you can start eating Pringles again if you like.
As soon as I see New Japan, I'm like, well, here we go.
I'm not going to stay long on this. It was From the Road to New Beginning. You would have actually liked this, Cian, to be fair, because it was class. KUSHIDA is leaving New Japan. We don't know where he's going yet, if he's going to just do the indies, if he's going to AEW or whatnot. But he's leaving New Japan, and it's mad, like, because we have Dean Ambrose, obviously. Hideo Itami announced today as well that he's leaving WWE. You have KUSHIDA just the other day left New Japan. He's wrestling his final match. So KUSHIDA's very important for New Japan. He was the ace of the junior division. He was the Okada of the junior division for years, just carrying it. Even when Hiromu Takahashi went down injured last week, KUSHIDA managed to was the guy who was given the belt back and was able to carry it along and let Will Ospreay move up to heavyweight, sacrificing his own heavyweight run, which maybe contributed to him leaving the company. Because he's been important to New Japan, they let him wrestle the final match that he wanted to wrestle, which was against the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Hiroshi Tanahashi. It was a good match. Like, if you're really into KUSHIDA and if you followed him along, it's worth watching. If you're not, I wouldn't go out of your way to watch it. It was a good match. They had the near falls where you're like, oh shit, KUSHIDA's going to do this. Like, it'd be like, what a great way to send them off, like beating the champ. But then Tanahashi won, which, you know, realistically was always going to happen. After is the part you like, because afterwards, Kevin Kelly's like, right, guys, this is the story I've been waiting for. Tanahashi leans down, goes to grab his buddy by the hand. It's like, right, they're doing the dramatic goodbye, whatever. Yeah, this is it. Jay White runs in, hits Tanahashi with a chair, beats the ever-loving fuck out of him, and then you're like, oh my god, they just took away Kushida's last moments to get Jay White over, and he doesn't give a fuck. He wraps Tanahashi's leg in a chair, gets another chair, fucks Tanahashi out of it because they're wrestling for the title at New Beginning, so that's what they're setting up there. And then, like, there's just mayhem going on. The commentary are doing so well because Kevin Kelly set it up perfectly with, like, well, this is the moment I've been waiting for, and then, like, Jay White runs out and they're like, you prick, you asshole, what are you doing, you ruined everything. He's getting genuinely pissed at it. It was great for Heat. And then they did the big goodbye in the end after they cleared after Jay White fucked off. They did a goodbye with Kushida and it was nice. So it's that part was well worth watching. It was a lot of fun. Guys, if you're interested in New Japan, there are 2 shows, the New Beginning shows, which is kind of not the Raw after Mania because that's New Year Dash, but it's like the first pay-per-view after WrestleMania, where they
Backlash.
Backlash. Yeah, it's kind of where they reset and they start the feuds for the new year. Last year, for example, at New Beginning, it was where the Golden Lovers reunited, or Minoru Suzuki took out Tanahashi and put him on the shelf with an injury, and took the Intercontinental title. So there's big things can happen at this, and there can be big twists. This year's, I'm not as mad about it. I know you're into it because there's a lot of Bullet Club.
So what's happening there? Because I looked this up and there's like loads of different days and loads of different shows, so it's a bit confusing.
3 different shows.
Okay.
3 different New Beginning shows. There's New Beginning in Sapporo, which is 2 shows, this Saturday and Sunday, and there's New Beginning in Osaka, which is next week then. This Saturday, you have Okada and Tanahashi teaming up, which is a big deal, like, especially in a big main event tag team match. They're wrestling Jay White and Bad Luck Fale, the Bullet Club. So that's the feud now. Okada and Tanahashi against the Bullet Club. Okada and Tanahashi. It's like Rock and Austin teaming. You know what I mean? It's always a big deal because they're the guys who they're the feud in New Japan. Then on Sunday you have Naito defending the Intercontinental title against Taichi.
Naito all day.
Yeah, you would say so, but like it'd be an interesting twist to have Taichi somehow win. He's part of Suzuki Gun, so they could easily have Suzuki Gun interfere and take the belt off Naito. Because Naito with the Intercontinental belt, last time he held it, he literally started throwing it. They had to get a new belt because he started throwing it around because he's like, I don't give a fuck about this belt. He started like stomping on it during like the Best of Super Juniors a couple of years ago. So Naito with the IC belt, it's not really what he's about. He doesn't really care about it that much. So Taichi winning would be an interesting one. He's like a cult favourite in New Japan fans. He's like the hipster favourite. Like,
is he not hated by a lot though? I kind of sworn I see a lot of people hating Taichi on like
Reddit
and stuff.
Like he's one of those that splits opinion, but you'll always have the hipsters that like, you know what I mean. You'll always have the
I don't like him. I think that is going to fuck him up. I'm a New Japan expert, man. What other ones do we have? Because I'm predictions galore right here.
All right, well no, they're the big matches that are on this weekend. Then there's a lot of tag matches. There's some other stuff, but they're the big matches that you keep an eye out for.
Naito's winning and. I don't know off the top of my head the other ones.
Okada and Tanahashi against Jay White and Bad Luck Fale. Jay White's fighting for the belt the following week.
I don't know.
I'd say Jay White's gonna win somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I think, because him and Bad Luck Fale, I mean, they've got that chemistry, they've got that love for each other that Tanahashi and Okada don't have. So, I feel like the chemistry and just, the will to win, it'll help them in the end, so I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah, so there you go. Saturday, Sunday, both mornings on New Japan World. Look, if you have your subscription to New Japan from Wrestle Kingdom, there you go. That's how you use it. Anyway, in at number 3, one from SmackDown Live. I felt bad for AJ and Bryan at the Rumble because they were purely in the piss break match. Like, they were, and it was like, I remember someone turned around to me and he's like, how messed up is it that, like, WWE, the depth they have on their roster now, that they can have AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, and that's the piss break. I'm like, oh, yeah, actually, that's interesting.
Well, you thought it was piss break.
I know, we'll get to that. Don't worry, we'll get to it. But, like, I felt bad for them because they didn't really get to have the match that we wanted them to have. Just because the crowd was dead from what happened right beforehand, which we will discuss, don't worry. Bryan obviously retained, came out this week, and again, this is just, I love this storyline. We spoke about it last week, how it's like, Bryan is saying everything that's accurate and true, and yet he's getting booed and being portrayed as the heel, because it's like, America, he's trying to teach us stuff. He reads books. Get him, AJ, get him. It's just like, as uncomfortable as it all is, like, Bryan came out and it's like, no homophobia, no racism, no this, no that, and it's like, he's the bad guy, and this was like okay in America in 2019. It's fascinating. It's incredible to watch. Came out and started talking about the WWE Championship belt. Said that like he's never felt comfortable holding the belt because it's made of leather and a cow had to die for this. He goes, and again, this is Merca all over, because he's like, a cow had to die for this. And you know what I did? I went out and gave a cow a name. I gave this cow a name. I like to think that this cow is called Daisy. And like the point is that he's humanizing the cow so people would realize, wait, for these excesses, people, like animals, have to get slaughtered for it. And he's like, Daisy was capable of feeling joy, but unfortunately she never got a chance. She was also capable of feeling horrible pain, but she did get a chance, unfortunately, to experience that. So, of course, Merca, the crowd just starts singing, "Thank you, Daisy." Thank you, Daisy. It was surreal. It was fantastic. The reactions Bryan is getting from the crowd doesn't reflect well on America in the slightest, but it does tell a very true story, and it's amazing. I loved every second of it. Cian, we heard some crunches there, so you seem to be making your way through it.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
We don't have a lot of the show left.
I'm not going to finish in the time, but if I just no, don't give up. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you're in a submission hold. Do you know what I mean?
Cian, I think you should tip them on the table and then just try power through them.
No, I'm not eating off the table.
You're losing a point otherwise.
You know what? I'm going to do this the right way. That's just how it is. I'll stay here till 4 a.m. if I have to.
I'm not staying here till 4. You have till the end of the show.
Well, shit.
You need to think of a plan right now, because otherwise this point is going to Katie Harvey.
I'll figure something out.
All right, interesting. We'll talk about NXT Takeover in at number 2, and that's usually strange because NXT Takeovers, whenever there is one, it's usually number 1, and it's usually better than the WWE pay-per-view. But this, for me, Cian was talking about it earlier, it wasn't. It was weird because it was like the card, when we looked at it, Cian's nearly tipping it over the table. Very real risk of the Pringles falling out now. The act of a desperate man at this stage.
Seriously, just turn it around and tip them onto the table.
No.
Is
So
Cian
good.
going to fall and lose a point by his own stubbornness to stick to his game plan?
I hope so, because I am supporting Katey all the way here.
Interesting times.
Yeah, you say that. Yeah, you sat in her chair as a mark of complete disrespect. Like, she's not here. Do you know what I mean? That chair is hers.
Yeah, because it's not like there was only 3 chairs at the table to begin with.
No, she's lying. This is an audio podcast. She's lying. Trust me.
Let's talk about NXT TakeOver. It was weird because, yeah, it just never got to the heights. Like, you look at it and it's like Ciampa against Black. That should be a good match. Ciampa main events always deliver. It just didn't. Like, the crowd weren't there. It wasn't necessarily their fault. Like, the match was well structured, well worked. Like, everything should have worked. They got there in the end, and they got the reaction they needed to. But it wasn't there. Shayna Baszler against Bianca Belair. Again, just the crowd were pretty shit for it. What was the other match on it? Matt Riddle against Cassius Ohno. Just, again, the lads hit each other with some really impressive stuff. They were stiffing the fuck out of each other. But again, the crowd just weren't there. Crowd weren't there because the opening tag match was incredible, though. There were some positives on this. The highs were really high, as is the case always for NXT TakeOver. You had War Raiders against the Undisputed Era, just non-stop from start to finish. And I just want to give credit to the NXT Tag Team division, because I feel that is like the bastard child of NXT. Every single month we seem to come out and saying, since fucking the days of American Alpha, since the days of the Revival, DIY then, and now you have War Raiders, Undisputed Era, it has always been stealing the fucking show. But look at what happened when the women were doing that with Sasha and Becky and Bayley and Charlotte and all that. When they were doing that every month, they got to basically take over WWE. WWE just aren't big on tag teams. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable are the Raw Tag Team Championships still, inexplicably. You know what I mean? They have so many other good tag teams that they could give it to, but they're just not. Because WWE don't give a shit. So these guys will never get the thanks we deserve, so we have to just, I guess, accept our lot with these amazing NXT tag teams. But we're watching, and we appreciate you here on Low Blows for what it's worth. Cian, you're looking kind of desperate at this stage.
It stresses me out. I refuse to give up. Do you know what I mean? If I run out of time, I'll run out of time, but I refuse to give up.
I'm not optimistic for your chances. But the best part of the show for me, and an early contender for Match of the Year, we knew it was going to be on paper, but it lived up to the hype. Ricochet against Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. Absolutely unbelievable. And this is the thing, the crowd, Phoenix weren't a great takeover crowd. It's not one of those like kind of Brooklyn or Chicago, the typical Philadelphia, the typical smart mark areas where they're going to appreciate everything, they're going to be popping for everything. Phoenix just doesn't have that. They have a stadium, and that's why they were picked for the Royal Rumble. So the crowd were kind of dead after the first match. They were pooped, and they just didn't seem like they were coming back to life. And I was watching this, like, I know a lot of people are suffering from Johnny Gargano fatigue, and it's an interesting case study because I don't necessarily disagree with it. He does have dramatic beats in his matches a lot. He does have like questions of like, you know, do I have the heart to do this, or what should I do, or what should, like, it seems to happen every takeover match where it's like, oh my god, I'm having a crisis of conscience. And like, if you do that every big match, we're going to expect it and we're going to be bored by it. So I do understand people's frustrations, but let's not forget, he still is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like, that's indisputable. He is fantastic, and like, he's in there with Ricochet, and I was tweeting about it during this match, and I'm like, Ricochet never gets talked about in these terms, but in terms of like execution, in terms of athletic ability and what he can do, and in terms of like having charisma as well to back it up, just the in-ring bit of charisma there. He's cocky, but like not in an arrogant, dislikable way, in a fuck yeah, I can do shit you can never even dream of kind of way. And it's like, yeah, you can. For me, he's got to be like top 5 in the world today.
Yeah.
But
Ricochet's incredible.
He just doesn't get talked about. And I think people need to go around, and I think they need to say it loudly and say it to me personally, but just tell their friends, Ricochet is the best wrestler in the world today. Because I think you should go around telling everyone that.
Is it Rick O'Shea or is it Ricochet?
Ricochet.
Whatever way it comes
just
out.
whatever way you want to say it, just say
That's
it.
fair.
Ricochet, best wrestler in the world. That'll make me very happy if you guys could do that. No, amazing match. These guys like started off doing amazing stuff, and I felt so bad for them because the crowd just weren't giving a shit at anything they were doing, even though it was death-defyingly good.
Yeah, like NXT Takeover crowds are usually absolutely incredible. Like they're better than any WWE show.
Yeah,
but Phoenix just
they
just didn't have it.
They were the shits. They were pooped after the first match. The first match blew them up, and then they just didn't have the energy or will to come back.
It was like the crowd after Becky won during the Daniel Bryan AJ match, except for the rest of the entire show. Yeah,
exactly. But the credit to these guys, they got them back.
Yeah.
They got them to 11. They got them standing on their feet like, ah! And that to me is why this has to be up there for Match of the Year, because the crowd did not want to be that way. You know, if you get a normal crowd, like sometimes we'll watch NXT TakeOver and like two people will do a lock-up and then like they'll do like an international spot and it'll end with a nip-up and indie standoff and the crowd are like, oh, this is awesome! This is awesome! And it's like, that's a thing that happens a lot. Like, it's not necessarily awesome. I'm glad you're having a good time, but like, you know, kind of being a bit loose with the word awesome there. They were not that way, but the lads got them there. They got me on like 3 or 4 near falls. They had me hook, line, and sinker. It was one of those matches where it's like Gargano's winning. Oh no, Ricochet's winning. Oh no, Ricochet's definitely winning. I see where they're going here. I didn't know until the final pinfall who was winning. Loved the bit of seriousness at the end. Loved the dark side. Also, the end of the show was great, where you had Ciampa celebrating with the belt. Then Gargano came out beside him. Then the little smile that Ciampa had. Like, it's like a great like to be continued moment where it's like, has Ciampa turned Gargano? Is this DIY getting back together, or is this them setting up title versus title for the WrestleMania takeover? I don't know, but I need to keep watching to find out. So, great end to the show. It just wasn't up there with normal NXT takeover standards, because it was like, you're used to getting 5 fucking shit hot matches, or at least 4 out of 5. There was 2 here, and they were really good, so they deserved their place here, but it just wasn't up there for me. But in at number 1, it can only be one. The Royal Rumble. The moment everyone wants to talk about, the big moment from the night. I think we can all agree. The moment that, like, you know, one person in particular lost their shit for. The best moment from the Royal Rumble. Cian, it can only be one thing.
I can't even say it. It was just so good. It was revolutionary. You know what I mean? It was just. Rowan returning was something that not many people expected. In fact, I don't think anyone expected it.
No, not even you.
No one expected it. But in that fashion, it wasn't just a case of like super optimistic. I was like, best case scenario, the Bludgeon Brothers appear, beat up someone and leave. That was kind of like at absolute best. I'd mark out for that, even though there's Harper and then it's, you know, he's back in the tag team. Now he's getting his time to shine. Everyone's talking about Eric Rowan. He's basically the champion himself. You know what I mean? He's basically the champion. Who unveiled the title then on SmackDown?
Yeah, sorry, the Echo-friendly title, the wooden title.
Exactly.
Which looks amazing, by the way. I forgot to say that. I forgot to credit the title belt. The title belt looked fucking amazing.
I love it. And, okay.
I'd just like to point out that I did call them making a new title for Daniel Bryan that wasn't made of leather months ago on Tumblr.
Okay, there you go.
I'm very happy that they
follow her on
did it.
Tumblr. There you go, guys, for more predictions.
I mean, if there's people over the age of 13 that use Tumblr that are listening to this, then by all means. But yeah, so Rowan, oh man, like I don't even know where to start with it. You know, that kind of way. Like, so it was Bryan versus Styles. It was the piss break. Nobody gave a shit, especially in our place. You know what I mean? Maybe in other places they might have, but not here. Do you know what I mean? Not in Dublin. No. Everyone was just like, they just experienced the maddest moment ever, which obviously I'm assuming we'll talk about in a
We'll
second.
get to it.
And we were kind of in the come down and just like, all right, whatever. And then I'm watching Bryan Styles, and when I say watching, I mean I was on my phone. I was just sort of like, right, I don't give a shit. I want Balor Lesnar. Let's fucking go. And then out of nowhere, they kind of just fucking smacks me on the shoulders like, Cian, and I hear a couple of like, oh. You hear a couple of people going, oh, because they're around me and they're like, oh fuck, this guy's gonna go, he's gonna lose his shit. And I look up and it takes a second to register in your own mind. You're like, oh my fucking god. And I'm there in my Bludgeon Brothers shirt as well. Just, again, it was pure optimism. I was like, imagine we get to see Eric Rowan. And he shows up on his own, which is a market moment in its own right. At first I was like, alright, he must be lost. He was probably, you know, you ever play like SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, but it's like your first time playing it and you're wandering backstage and you're like, you try to go into the locker room but it accidentally leads you out to the arena and you're like, shit.
It's like the old Eric Rowan joke we had. Old school loads would remember Eric Rowan just showing up in places he's not supposed to be. It was like, oh, Eric, no. It's literally like that. You just reminded me. No. And then you just shoo him away or don't look at him until he leaves.
But he was also in his normal clothes as well. So it's like, are you sure that this is meant to... I mean, I didn't give a fuck at the time. I was like, yeah. So much so that you could, I believe, hear me from inside.
I took a break for this match. After the highs that just came before it, I decided to go out to the second bar, which was a little bit quieter, and I sat on the couch and I just had a pint and I watched it on the video wall. And I was just by myself, chilling out. I'm like, there's not much going on here. Everything's dead after that. Having a chat with one of the lads, and then literally all I hear is, ah! I'm not exaggerating. It's like that. It's like someone is getting stabbed in the next room. Like something's gone wrong. This is not joy. This is something very different. It was like, and then I looked at the screen with this person I was with, who also knows Cian, and then we saw Eric Rowan, and we instantly knew what happened, and we're like, run. We ran in, and Cian standing there like, what the fuck? What the fuck? It was a fucking moment.
So, like, that was only him being there. That's not even including what he did. He then goes on in to chokeslam one of the most, like, high-profile wrestlers in existence. Just wipes him clean out. Imagine, like, just saying, yeah, I knocked out AJ Styles, killed him. It's like, he went from, like, in fairness, he left on, like, a high enough thing. Like, he was injured, but only lost one match. Yeah, but he only lost, like, one match in all of 2018. And, but just to come back in that fashion. And it's not only that, but, like, just to fast forward a little bit, quickly on SmackDown, yeah? Like, did you watch the Rowan Bryan thing? Yeah. It's like, he's an individual now, do you know what I mean? Like, I know he's obviously with Bryan, but he is, people are talking about Rowan. Like, he has his own Titantron with a recycling fucking thing on it. That is the coolest shit. And then, like, he was the one to unveil the title, and he's wearing, I just think he looks so slick in his, like, in his normal, like, clothes and his tattoos, his new tattoos. I love it. I'm so in love with it. And I'm actually, I never watch Raw or SmackDown because I don't have time. It's just the day and time that's on. I'm making it my business to watch every fucking Eric Rowan segment. Like, I will watch SmackDown now for this. Not even just read it. Like, I have to watch all of it. Every moment, from the second he comes out of the curtain to, like, the second he leaves. It was so good. And that was my moment of the night. And that's saying something because, obviously...
We had a pretty big moment. Over 1 million people have seen throughout the world. But, yeah, no, it was special, and I was glad that I could be there to see your reaction. Other high points from Rumble I want to talk about before we get to the obvious one. The men's Royal Rumble itself. I thought this was brilliantly done and the perfect counterpoint to the women's Royal Rumble. I loved Jeff Jarrett coming out at the start with Elias. I thought that was inspired. It was absolutely fantastic. Now, when they tried to repeat it on Raw and they then brought Road Dogg out and started having them do With My Baby Tonight, repeating it from the Hall of Fame, it was like, alright, this is where WWE succeeds in doing a funny and then fails immediately. But I loved the promo. But also, I loved the surprise entrance for this. This was really good. Like, I know a lot of them were people that we were speculating might be, but the fact that we got a lot of them was great. Like, Pete Dunne was in a fucking Royal Rumble. How surreal was that to watch? Not only that, but he was killing it and getting big spots. Johnny Gargano, we discussed earlier. You had Aleister Black as well coming in, and like, I'm really hoping that's a call-up. Like, he wasn't on Raw or SmackDown afterwards, but I really hope that's a call-up because I think he's ready and he's
Personally, for me, just having Dean Ambrose interacting with not only Pete Dunne, but also Aleister Black, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like, if Dean is leaving in April, the fact that I got those 2 moments in the Rumble, like, that's all I need.
Yeah, interesting. And then Dean Ambrose's new feud was also in it. Number 30, Nia Jax.
Oh, my God. Can he just knock her out, please? I just...
Are we going to talk about that?
Yes.
Right. That, for me, the only reason this was the third best moment of the night is because of Rowan and Becky, right? You take that out, and that was easily my moment of the night. I loved this so fucking much for so many reasons.
Go for it.
Like, first of all, okay, everyone knew R-Truth was getting attacked, and that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Everybody's just sitting around waiting. It's like, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, who's it gonna be? Like, no one knew really, because it was like, well, who is it gonna be? You know what I mean? There was kind of like, well, I mean, we've seen a lot of top names already, and it's like, it's not gonna be like Tommaso Ciampa. It's not gonna be like, you know, so we were kind of like, who's it gonna be? And it's fucking Nia Jax. And at first I'm like, wow. Because I thought, I wasn't happy because I was like, right, she's going to come in and she's going to like, she might win, which is like the worst, and like insert herself in the Becky match, which would be like the worst case scenario. But like, also there's just the possibility of like, you know, or the realistic possibility of her coming in, maybe eliminating a Mustafa Ali, for example, and then like getting eliminated cleanly by another wrestler, and that's it. And it's like, well, that was a bit of a waste. But she came in, and it was the funniest fucking shit. So first of all, Mustafa Ali did that thing I fucking hate, where it was like, oh, I can't punch you because you're a woman. And it's like, it's wrestling, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, whatever. You know, he's a super babyface. So if anybody was to hesitate, all right, fine. He got eliminated for it. And this is where things get better. And you can see, right, it's almost like they're sending messages, you know what I mean? Like, that's not the way things are anymore. Do you know what I mean? That's what happens to people who think like that. And then... then it happens, and the best part was just the crowd for this as well.
It was
so bloodthirsty and so like up for this, and it was like Ziggler first of all super kicks her head off, and it's like yeah, and then like she gets into the 619 position, and it's like, oh my god, Rey Mysterio's gonna do it, he's gonna hit it, and then he hits it. And then the moment everyone's waiting for, because it was teased before this, and he finally does it, the RKO, and everyone's like, it's as if Becky won a second Rumble. Everyone just starts going, yeah! And I loved it. And I loved it not only because, first of all, it was hilarious, very entertaining, something to cheer for, something to lose your shit for, but just, you've heard me on the show before talk about my thoughts on intergender wrestling, how heavy I push for it, and I feel like that's the way forward, is men versus women, and instead of dividing everyone. And that was just the perfect example. That was the most intergender wrestling thing WWE's ever done. You know what I mean? Like Becky versus James Ellsworth, that's tame. You know what I mean? Like anything in the past with even Beth Phoenix in the Rumble, she was only in for like a minute or so. Do you know what I mean? This was real. This was people saying, "Oh, fuck you! I don't care if you're one. I'm gonna kick the fuck out of you."
Yeah.
It was so good, and it's like if that's the way they go in future, and it ends up being like we end up getting like Becky versus Rollins or Becky versus Balor or you know some shit like that. Like that's it's so good. And you see, like it was cool as well seeing like female wrestlers on Twitter then coming out afterwards and saying like this is the fucking like I cried watching that. That was the fucking best. And yeah, I mean I know you're gonna get people saying like it's this domestic abuse. It's not. And it's just like for every one of them there'd be like hundreds of people saying no, this is amazing. I feel like it's cool seeing people so ready to move on and do it. I just think it's like that's I don't know. I just hope we see more of it. Is what I'm saying.
It did feel weird, like because I got like we're all kind of celebrating, and they did it very well. Where you had to pop, you were just like, yeah, get her, yeah. But it did feel weird, where it's like, beat that bitch. It's just like, but they'd already, especially in the room that we were in Buster's, after celebrating what we'd seen earlier, like Nia Jax getting her comeuppance to end the night was fucking fantastic. So yeah, like they did it the right way. And they worked it in. It'll be interesting to see WWE's take on it and how this goes. Like it looks like they're continuing. She's going to be feuding with Dean Ambrose. So
that, like, you know me, like nothing Dean Ambrose does is ever wrong in my eyes. But after that whole like Nia Jax Dean Ambrose thing on Raw, he did a backstage interview that they put up on their website, and he genuinely said, I'm going to choose to believe that she tripped and fell into me because there's no way she would try to start a physical altercation with me, a man. And I'm like, Dean, sweetheart, no.
Yeah, I know,
stop
but that's
that, please.
That's kayfabe.
But it's WWE, so I expect nothing.
It's the storyline.
No, but Joe pissed me off on SmackDown.
It's like, okay, hold on, okay. Is this Corporate Queen fave? Like,
no, I just like.
Have you been talking to Keen too much? Like,
I mean, I try to stop.
Are you in Keen fave or like?
No,
you understand?
I just
like.
I don't know how to describe it. Like, I want him to be like. I didn't want him to be like, oh, I don't want to hit her because she's a woman and like she shouldn't hit me because I'm a man and we don't do that here in WWE.
But Keen, close your ears. Close your ears for a second, right? Don't listen. Cover your ears. Right. That's a script. It's not real.
Don't let him hear that.
He did. Okay, Keen, keep covering your ears. He didn't say that. Like, he was told
that was WWE.
That's not his opinion. Like, it's not Dean. Relax.
Yeah. Because I know him. And, like, I've seen
I know him!
Yeah, no, I do. Definitely.
Such a fan girl. I love the pure fan girls there.
You've no idea. Trust me. But, like, I want to see them in a match.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was annoyed that he walked away from that.
Yeah.
I was like, get back in the ring and
it's
do
almost
something.
as if WWE wanted people to be annoyed at Dean Ambrose
right?
for what he did. Like, I don't know. But how would that work anyway? It's not as if it's scripted or anything like that. And like,
you know what did piss me off though? Right? And this is on SmackDown. Randy Orton, who is a good guy, am I right in saying?
I think he is now.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And Mustafa Ali comes out and he's talking shit and he's like, I think the only insult he had from Mustafa Ali was, oh, the Royal Rumble, was that not where you got eliminated by a girl? I was like,
yeah, well, like, I can believe a douchebag like Randy Orton would go that route.
By the way, I really want Randy Orton versus Nia Jax at WrestleMania. That's a match. I know Randy Orton matches really, like, on paper make me go, oh yeah. But that's a match I want to see. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, look, we also have to accept that, like, you know, she is a woman. And, like, it's not that, like WWE are going to play this card. But it's to play the card of, look at that dickhead calling her just a woman. And then the woman overcomes. Like, WWE are going to do that. And it's not necessarily wrong. Because that's the story they're telling. Like, so they will play that card where, like, Orton's going to come out and it's like, you're just a girl. You can't beat me. Now, as you spoke about and say something stupid, sometimes WWE will still have that person lose. But, like, the theory is that they're going to, like, they are going to play that card. It is going to happen.
So you're saying Nia versus Orton's going to happen?
No, I'm saying that if it does happen. If it does continue, I don't know if it's going to happen.
I would say it does.
Like,
I get my hopes up. I really want this match now.
We book Courage. We don't book WWE. That's not like, I'm not the booker for wrestling. If I say it doesn't happen, I just book one show.
But It's a wrestling show. It's the same. Could you not just ask them? Be like,
I'll call them up because all right.
There's actually an email that you can send to WWE for complaints you have, and it's the funniest shit. Because I just have this image in my head of some fucking intern just sitting in his office, just like clicking delete all day, just sitting there watching because obviously
some guy's job.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, fair enough. If it's it's not like an email for like merch that like came in the wrong size. It's like. People are complaining about oh, this guy's getting pushed and this guy's whatever. I'm like, could you imagine that being your job? That is gas. I'd love that job.
All right, look, we do have to get talking about the Women's Rumble. First up, I want to bring up a small note, one positive from the early stages. I think I might have a new second favourite women's wrestler. Katey Castanzaro, is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, you're a true fan. Can't even say her name.
I literally saw her for the first time on Sunday, and fuck me, she is incredible. And you learn she's going over Ricochet as well. So I'm I probably should have known this. She seems to be well known by everyone else. But wow, holy shit! I compared it to. This is a weird comparison. Compared it to the first time I saw S.A. Rios come out with Lita, and I'm just holy shit! What the fuck is this guy doing? He's doing shit I've never seen before. She is incredible. I really want to see more of her. I think they should just bring her straight up. The shit she can do is unbelievable, and she made the early part of the Women's Royal Rumble for me.
I thought her Kobe spot was really cool as well. The part where it's she was on what's it? Is it Ninja Warrior? Is that what it's called? You know that show? I think it's Ninja Warrior. Yeah, where the obstacle course thing.
Yes,
I think she was on that.
Oh yeah, I heard that actually. Oh, do you know what else I loved about the early stages of the Women's Royal Rumble when Naomi did a Kofi spot and then Mandy Rose just comes along and sweeps her off.
Love that.
After all the effort she went to, but we got to move on because.
Can I just say one thing? I think we need to show a bit of appreciation to Ember Moon, who wrestled that entire Royal Rumble with a broken arm.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well done to her.
We definitely do, yes. Good shout out. Yes, thank you. I forgot to put that in. That's fucking amazing. That's really...
Yeah,
did she break it early or did she just...
I think so, yeah. Because she did an interview on WWE and she basically said she wrestled that entire match with one arm.
Did she break it in the match?
I think so, yeah.
All right,
just
because
if
she broke it in the match, then brave. Just not getting eliminated straight away. If she broke it beforehand and still wrestled the match, stupid. Yeah. I'm just saying. But there's only one moment we can end on. Becky. I remember when it was going badly in the Women's Rumble, and I was like, you know what? Carmella's coming out 30, and that's going to be that. And she did. But they'd had Nia Jax take out Lana beforehand. And it was better that way.
Is that what happened? Was she not injured from... Oh, sorry, I guess you.
Lana was injured from her bump off Rusev because she took a back bump 6 weeks ago, and she was hurting from that. But she's trying to make it to the Rumble, and then Nia comes out because she hasn't made it up yet. Just destroys her. The fact that it was Nia as well that sets it up, and it was just perfect. Carmella came out 30. We still hadn't got it resolved, so we're like, how the fuck does this happen? And we're all this is a bit of a bummer, but we're all kind of going. All right.
It's little rumblings in your feet, in your stomach. You can feel it.
All right, maybe. And then they keep going back to Lana, getting checked and stuff like that. Then Becky comes out. Huge pop number one in Buskers. This is the thing. It didn't, the video got a really good shot, but it didn't convey what Buskers was like. If you check our Insta story, it's in our highlights if you want, because I managed to get the moment where Becky came out and then kind of got the progression, because there was 4 or 5 of these. It was like an earthquake that just kept going. Becky came out and they were all like, let her fight, and then you had the moment where Finley turns around. Finley, of all people, turns around and he's like, go! And then she's like, fuck yeah! Music hits. Whoa! It's holy shit! Just when all hope was lost. Then in the ring, perfectly done. Again, just coming in, destroying everyone. Then they had the showdown with Nia, and then she ends up getting hurt, and then coming back to beat the odds. They didn't think she was able to make it back into the ring. That whole deal was fantastically done, where it's she's legit injured. Not legit, we knew it was, but whatever. Sorry, Keith.
Sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, then comes in her and Charlotte, one final showdown. And then even just the way they had us until the very end, where it was just because we cared so deeply. I got a shot of Jimmy Malloy draped in the Irish flag, just face filled with fear, even though, like, come on, we knew at that stage there was no other outcome. This was happening, but we just couldn't.
You never know. Like, Undertaker lost at WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean? Like literally, I will never, ever say there's a 100% chance of anything happening in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's always 99.99999.
Yeah.
You know she's going to win, but you don't know she's
Exactly,
going to win.
exactly. There's just that little bit of tension, and that's what makes it, you know what I mean? And then, boom. It was one of the best moments in Low Blows history. I'll put it up there with Balor winning the Universal title, like, but they're 50-50, like, and then just the pure elation of it. It was absolutely perfect. Then the next night on Raw, I was going to put this and say something stupid. Ronda Rousey comes out at the start, and the crowd are just like, nope. And then Ronda, like, again, like, she's got an ego. She's got a big profile. She's a huge star. That's why she's in the main event of WrestleMania. But also, this is a WWE crowd, and they're very, like, you know, I know she's been around for a year, but she hasn't got stuff like this happening to her. Because WWE are like, don't give a fuck who you are. WWE crowd are the same crowd who turned on The Rock just as he became, like, A-list movie star. And WWE crowd said, fuck it. They'll just do this sometimes. Becky was the person they wanted to see. Ronda came out. They're booing the shit out of everything she says. She lifts the mic up to her mouth. As soon as she opens her mouth, BAM! Just will not let her get a word out. She tries to work it in the end and tries to, like, play along with the crowd and lift the mic up, pretending to speak, and then drop it and lifting it up again. But also you can tell she doesn't know how to. She doesn't have, like, there's no end goal in sight with this. It's kind of like Cian with the Pringles. She is
That's
just
depressing. I actually forgot they were there. Fuck.
I don't know what's going to happen at this stage.
By the way, it does look like he's given up at this stage.
To the point, we will get to that. Don't worry, we will resolve that before the end. But then Bayley's music hits. They have the open challenge because that's what Ronda does every time after a pay-per-view. And then, like, they have their match. Ronda ends up winning. It was actually it was a really good match, to be fair, to take back everything I said earlier on. The finish was
good because, like, they had Ronda selling that she was still injured from Sasha.
Yeah, exactly.
So Bayley was working that.
Yeah, and, like, they had a couple of near falls. And then the finish was great as well. Where Ronda, they had her up in the top, and then Ronda did the flip around. It looked dangerous as fuck, but it was really impressive.
Wasn't that, like, her first ever win by pinfall? I think she's
the Sasha match was.
No,
the Bayley match she won by armbar, because she flipped her over from the top, won by armbar, tapped her out. They did the handshake afterwards, but then, like, in the middle of this, like, the timing was perfect, because it was just like you weren't expecting it. It was offbeat, then Becky's music hits.
Did you see the little thing? I don't think this was on TV, but it was on Reddit, where when Becky's coming out and Bayley's in the ring with Ronda, Becky does, it's so subtle, but it's so fucking cool. She looks over at Bayley and she just goes like that, puts her four fingers up, the four horsemen symbol, and Bayley does it back, and there's just kind of like, it's like a subtle, like, it's like the four of them will beat the shit out of each other, but when an outsider comes in, it's like they're back to being sisters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with Bayley. Bayley's the only one really who didn't, like, fight with Becky, do you know what I mean? She, like, it was Becky that beat the shit out of Bayley in NXT. Bayley never did anything wrong to Becky, do you know what I mean? So if she was to have a favourite sister, do you know what I mean? It'd probably be her as well, so this is really cool. I just want the four horsewomen versus four horsewomen. And
we might get it, who knows? There's rumours of Ronda leaving after Mania, but we don't know. Ronda's come out and said, stop talking about my vagina. Exact quote.
It would arguably be a better match. It would arguably be a better match to have, I would say, years from now than tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but, like, Ronda might not be around. This is the point. We might have to have it, like, very soon because of the circumstances. Like,
she can come back, though.
We don't know if she will. No, if she's a mother, she mightn't care. She's done it. She's ticked the box. This is like someone who's, like, doing UFC movies, wrestling. Like, she's ticking boxes for things she wants to do, and then she wants to have a family. So, like, and she's a goal-oriented person.
Families are shit, man. Just get a fucking, just wrestle. Why would you want a family? Everyone has a family. Just go and wrestle Becky Lynch.
But she's in the main event of WrestleMania.
No, I meant four horsemen.
This is what we were confirming. Becky comes out, just absolutely owning it. But then, credit to Ronda. Ronda's promo was fucking fire. that like Ronda came back and she's like, and she like finally was able to be a heel, and it was like, right, the crowd all want Becky, and like it was. Do you know what I loved about it? It was UFC Ronda Rousey. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like scripted, smiley WWE Disney Ronda Rousey. It was UFC where she's like, I don't give a fuck if people don't like me. She's not being a heel, but she's just like, I don't give a fuck if people don't like what I have to say because I've got an ego and I'm gonna fucking say it anyway. I don't like you, you little fucking bitch. You know what I mean? She just gets in Becky's face and she's like, you know what? Any ring that I step into is my ring, and if you step into my ring, I'm gonna tap you out. Boom! Slams the mic down, and I'm like, I'm sold. This is it. I'm in. 100%. This is it. You sold me on the main event of WrestleMania. They sold up that main event with that. They're the last match. There you go. Not even a question anymore.
I'm so excited.
It was fucking amazing. It was wrestling perfection.
I just want to point out the fact that during that entire part where Ronda was like right in Becky's face, Becky did not even look bothered.
Yeah.
She just kept a straight face the whole time, and that's what we need. Like,
yeah, it was class.
It was incredible. Like, it was so good.
It was brilliant, and like I loved it. Both of them played their parts perfectly, and that's what you want. You want two alpha dogs coming into it. Anyway, look, that's the in-ring from the week. Not a lot of time left, but this week on the Low Blows Network, keep in mind, we have, like I announced last week, we have all of our shows for free, but we are asking that you please still do support the Patreon. Whatever you can afford a month, throw it in there. We will be doing up an offer for free tickets to parties and stuff like that for anyone who pays X amount. We'll get to that. We'll put it up on social media when we have that resolved. It's just been a crazy week, guys. Fucking 1 million views on Sports Illustrated and stuff like that. We're still chasing our tails, but we do have to get back in shape quickly because we have No Spoiler Monday returning for Elimination Chamber on February 18th in Buskers on the Ball, so we'll have news. Keep your eye on our social media for that. Also as well, another thing in February to keep your eye out for, there's a lot going on. Obviously OTT of the big Walter Pack match. Fight Factory are back with episode 7, Love Graps actually. We're going to have news on that as the weeks go on, but also we're getting ready, me and Corporate Keane are getting ready to run our first ever wrestling show as Low Blows Rune Wrestling comes presented by Courage Wrestling, who are letting us book our own wrestling show after years of being asked. It's coming to Button Factory on February 23rd, and tonight we announced Bobby Guns will be facing one of the Irish Young Guns in an open challenge. So guys, who do you want to see? You know, maybe this isn't wrapped up yet. Maybe there is still time for you guys to have a say. Who do you want to see take on Bobby Guns? Think of Irish talent. Think of like the talent on the Irish scene. Anyone. It can be anyone who's like coming up through the ranks. Like, there's so many great talent out there, and we want to put Bobby Guns up against someone who can really test him and can have a great match. And this is, by the way, lads, we haven't fully decided this yet, but this is this could be like our main event as well, because it's going to be absolutely class. Like, Bobby Guns, obviously huge following, one of the biggest stars in WXW. It's going to be a great night. We're going to be announcing loads of matches over the next week. Maybe within the next week or so, we may be able to reveal our Corporate Keane exclusive match.
No. I don't. Yeah, it's a secret. So
we have a match from the mind of Corporate Keane, still to come. A match you've never seen before, or at least we don't think of. Someone's probably done something like it, but like hasn't been called this name. But a match you haven't seen before in Ireland anyway. We can't wait for it. Put it this way: when we told Katie Harvey about this match, she marks the fuck out and asked if Fight Factory could use it sometime. So we cannot wait for it. It's going to be class. Keep your eye on our social media for all updates there. And in the meantime, if you want to keep in touch with Low Blows, we've a new one with the podcast. Looking back at an episode of the In-Betweeners as we do. We've got Paddy's New Yacht, which is going to be previewing the Super Bowl and the opening of the Six Nations tomorrow, as well as the Premier League action ahead of the weekend. And we will have a new Talk Nerdy to Me with Jerry on Friday as well. All that before next Monday, the return of the Spandex Pantomime with Justy. So keep an eye out for all of that. It's all on Spotify. It's all on iTunes. If you're a subscriber on Patreon, you'll get it all the normal way. Nothing will change there. Do not worry, but keep your eye on all of our channels for updates on that. Now,
yeah, they're not finished. But I didn't give up, right? I just forgot they were there because I got so into the Rumble Talk. And then after the Rumble Talk, I was like, oh shit. There's about, I'd say it's about half done. So, I mean, look, it's like when a wrestler passes out in a position. Their buddy didn't give up on them. They didn't give up. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's exactly what happened. Look, my point is, I should get the point regardless because I put the effort in. I put the pressure on Katey.
Katey Harvey, if you're listening at home, we raised over 300 quid for you at the Royal Rumble. But I think the real prize that we can give you this week, while you recover from shoulder surgery, is you win the point in Queen
for doing
Keith.
absolutely nothing.
She set the challenge, you accepted, you could not answer the call.
Okay, I'm going to set a challenge then. But by this time next week, wipe your arse. If you don't, if you can't wipe your own arse, I should get a point. That's how it works now. If we're setting challenges for each other, why don't we do that then? Do you accept this challenge?
We shall see. Anyway, get well soon, Katey. Unlucky Corporate Keen. Thanks for joining us, Nicola, this week. And look, I hope the recovery from Dean Ambrose's loss is going well. You're getting John Moxley back. Stay positive. Guys, it's been a great week in wrestling, but now I need to take a break. I've had a lot of wrestling the past few days. I'm going off to watch the Super Bowl. I hope you have a good weekend whenever you get up to. But until next week, for
Baltimore Mavens. Woo!
They're not in it. That's
who's in it?
Team. It's the Rams and the Patriots.
New England Patriots. Where are the Rams from?
LA.
Oh, I'm gonna go with LA. I think they have a good chance. Do you know what I mean? If they put the pressure on, they got that chemistry, that teamwork, that experience.
This isn't the same as wrestling.
Okay, I'll try my best.
But until next week, for Rick Nash, for Corporate Keen, for Nicola too, that's the bottom line. Because Lolo said so.